just getting back from El Mencho's compound?
Yes, I was there for 3 days.
How the do you get onto El Mencho's compound right after? I mean, he was like the most wanted guy in the world.
Yeah.
How'd you get in there?
Well, it actually wasn't that complicated. So I got a lot of questions about this, but there was a lot of press there. It was wide open. So basically there's this compound of cabins in Tapalpa, Jalisco, which is a really common tourist destination. It's actually super nice there. When I got there like a day and a half after the operation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super calm, really nice place. Like I felt like I was on vacation. It was super safe, really nice.
Looks beautiful.
It is. It's a Pueblo Mágico. It's like a.
How's it look when there are dead bodies all over the street?
There were not, and that place doesn't actually have that. They do not have crime like that. And the only really thing that stood out was like there was like a few Oxos that were burned to the ground because like of the chaos that ensued following the operation. They were burning cars and businesses. But aside from that, it really wasn't that bad. We just had to go to like smaller local stores to get waters and whatever. But a lot of press was there. And this allegedly wasn't actually the place where he was captured or he was killed, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's this compound with cabins. They're vacation rentals. And in front of it, there's this basically like foresty area. It's kind of within forest, I guess. And allegedly, he escaped from this cabin compound through the forest to a country club, which is right next door, where he had a really big, luxurious house. And it's like a gated country club. And that's where he was found and then shot at. Like according to the official records of his death, he had multiple gunshot wounds like in his abdomen, and that's how he was killed. And during the operation, I think 25 National Guard members of Mexico's National Guard were killed.
Whoa.
And then, yeah, that was a big hit, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there was, I think I have a lot of numbers to remember here, so I'm kind of just ballparking it. Yeah, but I think around 12 of El Mencho's guys were also murdered during this operation. And so I'm under the impression from being there at the cabins that his guys were staying at these cabins. And then I don't know if I guess during the operation he was there and then took off through the forest to the country club. So obviously having gone there is very different than just looking at pictures of it because, well, first of all, to get into this, I'm going to call this area where the cabins are just the compound for the rest of this episode. To get there, it's one narrow-ish road that goes from the highway. So you're along the highway. I actually should have shared you a really good map that I have, but it's along the highway. You take a turn to this long, narrow road that takes you all the way up to this compound of cabins. Along that road, there's maybe like 4 or 5 really luxury homes there. And then you get to the cabins. When we got there, there was no National Guard. There were no police, nothing. It was just us.
Empty.
Yeah, it was literally me and my cameraman. And
they took out Mexico's bin Laden and the place is completely ghost town 2 days later.
Yeah. No like police tape, nothing. That I don't know what that is.
Looking at, Dave?
Oh, that's the town. Yeah, that's the city center.
Oh, this is like some of the stuff you said where cars are burned.
Yeah, they burned a lot of cars. But
Kat, can we back up from
Sorry,
that?
yeah, you're going to have to help me out with this just because so much happened being there. I'm like still processing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people right now listening going, what the f***? Like she's on the side of this thing, but what's going on? Who is this guy? You've been here 3 times before this episode. We have discussed El Mencho and CJNG in the past.
Called it on the
You did call it on that last one.
I was shook. I forgot that I said that, and then I saw the clip, and I was like, actually, my dad sent it to me, and he's like, "What the?" Who are you working for? I was like, I, you know, because you kind of put all the pieces together. You know, I have so much information, and this is, I live and breathe this. So then you get to a point where you can make a pretty informed hypothesis, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of wonder when people are going to stop giving you shit when you report a story and say it's all made up and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, because it's now been several times where you've reported a really big one and people are like, she's full of shit. She has no idea what she's talking about. And a week later, it's like, wait a minute.
Is she Mossad?
Oh, wow. I wasn't going to go there, but
no, but I get that a lot. Huh?
Are you?
I can't tell you. No. Oh my God. Now your viewers are going to literally think, do I have to answer that seriously?
Do you know what show you're on right now?
I know. It's like everyone's going to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, we take this very seriously around here.
Oh my God. You need to stop, because since I got back from Ukraine, my whole shit is filled with Russian fucking... Ukraine.
Tracking down El Mencho. It's all adding up. But I will say, in particularly in episode 336, when you broke the, I don't even know what to call that.
The baby
trafficking story of CJNG. That was the one that I got so many people reaching out like, you're an idiot. How could you ever have her on about this? I'm like, got all the oh yeah. Because people didn't believe you. I'm like, Trump
did a whole presser about it.
Exactly. I said, I got all the receipts on this before we did it. I called you the second you reported that. And I was like, are you sure about this? How do you know? You told me. And then a week later, they arrest can we pull that up, Deef? La Diabla from CG.
Oh, I was in that house.
From CJNG. But like, they literally arrested the lady who was running this. The United States government helped with that. And the entire racket was exactly what you said. And effectively what they were doing, it's absolutely disgusting. But CJNG started this new racket. Deef's got it up right here. That's the psychotic bitch who was running it. Martha Alicia Mendez Aguilar, known as La Diabla. But what they were doing is they were abducting young pregnant women, vulnerable women from lower socioeconomic environments, bringing them to trap houses, forcing them to have C-sections, leaving their dead bodies on the side of the road, packaging up the babies alive and maybe sometimes dead for organ harvesting. I don't know, but at least alive, and would take them across the U.S. border and traffic them for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and it was between CJNG and La Linea, which is still not designated a foreign terrorist organization.
Wait, why not? Can you explain La Linea to people?
Yeah, it's basically like Juarez cartel. It's the cartel that runs Chihuahua, or that border state.
So why aren't they a terror group?
I don't know. That FTO designation list, I thought it would expand shortly after they first published it last year, and it hasn't.
Interesting.
And there's a lot that are missing on it, but
okay.
I don't know how that works.
Well, let's do a recap for people that haven't listened to you explain some of this before, and we'll go into more detail this time because we've never given it the full kind of treatment here. But everyone is seeing on the news CJNG. These guys look crazy. They're seeing it in their social media feeds. Can you go through the history of them and who they are, where they operate, and some of the insane types of operations they do? I mean, these guys dress in full-blown special forces military gear.
Yeah, they do.
It's crazy.
It's so funny because everyone who was monitoring this situation kept reposting that old-ass video of like, you think that these are Mexican military? They're not. It's CJNG. It's like, yeah, we know. Like, shut up. Oh my God. It gets to a point where it's like, get with the times, people. But basically, okay, so CJNG, the leader of CJNG, El Mencho, he was from Michoacan, obviously a green gold state. We've talked about the avocado trafficking before, that monopoly that organized crime has on agriculture in Mexico. He actually illegally migrated to the US. He was then deported for like drug related charges. He also like took the blame for like this murder that his brother did. And there was like a bunch of lore of his life in the US at a certain point. He gets deported, goes back to Mexico, becomes a police officer. He eventually gets married to kind of the brains behind this all, to Rosalinda Valencia. And she is from the notorious Valencia family who started the Millennial Cartel back in 1950s to 70s.
In the 50s?
Oh, yeah, they're like the OGs.
I was going to say, that's way back.
Yeah, they're the OGs. And they became the Millennial Cartel. They actually started with the agriculture stuff, the they're from Michoacan, the avocado trafficking and stuff, using those routes to then traffic like coke, opium, weed. Right.
Yeah.
And
so
then
they're like the Kennedys of Mexico.
They literally are. Yeah. They are so extremely powerful. And then she has like almost 20 siblings, and they're known as Los Cuinis. Like they are I would probably say the richest family in Mexico.
Los Cuinis?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, translated?
I don't know. That's just
it's just like a slang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it has like a direct translation. I don't know. My Spanish is good, but like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I'm not Mexican, so
we'll pull up Duolingo or something.
I don't think Duolingo will teach you that.
Whatever.
Anyways, they end up, it's like a blood alliance, right? Because El Mencho starting his CJNG, he gets with, and there was already nexus between Mencho's family and Los Cuinis in a way. They get together. Los Cuinis, the Valencia family, ends up funding CJNG and Mencho. Yeah. And so essentially they're like the financial stronghold, whereas CJNG is like that violent powerhouse trafficking, that kind of paramilitary stronghold, right? And which is why CJNG manages to become the most expansionist, powerful, and violent cartel across Mexico and have essentially power over almost every single Mexican state. Because between the finances, between the brains, the historical power, these guys can obviously pop off, right? They had, we knew this, but after documents were published of what was found in El Mencho's country club house where he was killed, there's like lists of all of the politicians and all of the police that were on the payroll. Yeah. So they have like, okay, this police force, like the police of Tuito, the police of Tomatla, and how much they're making, and then the state police, and then certain people on the federal police. And they referred to the federal police as Los Negros. And then people saw that. Yeah, because you guys are fucking American and you guys saw that and you're going, oh my God, CJNG is racist. And it's
that's not where I was going. I just want to know why they referred to
because
it like that.
Federal police drive black police cars. And so that's how they would just.
Los Negros.
No, literally, people were like, oh my God, they're racist. It's like, bro, this is Spanish. Okay. That pissed me off so bad.
Well, at least they kept a nice documented list for the Mexican IRS so they could review it later and properly go through the balance sheet. Listen, I don't like cartels, but I do like my cartels to be organized financially.
Well, it's called organized crime for a reason, because...
But organized financially,
Right? Because apparently in order to be a narco, you have to know how to use Excel.
You know that moment when you're running out the door and need a shirt that looks polished, but you don't have time to iron it? Well, that's exactly why I wear Mizzen & Main, because their products are fast, sharp, and ready the second you grab them. Mizzen & Main makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp and feel great. They actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and since then they've perfected it with modern fabrics. Mizzen & Main shirts and pants look refined, yet they're stretchy, lightweight, moisture wicking, wrinkle resistant, and completely machine washable. No ironing or dry cleaning necessary. And when you put their clothes on, you'll feel the difference instantly. It's a professional style that's actually comfortable, whether you're in the office, on the road, or even on the golf course. And another thing I really like about Mizzen & Main is that it's a veteran-led organization. So they offer a year-round military discount and proudly give back to other veteran organizations. Right now, Mizzen & Main is offering our listeners 20% off your first order at mizzenandmain.com using promo code Julian20 at checkout. That link is in my description below. That's Mizzen, spelled M-I-Z-Z-E-N, and Main, M-A-I-N.com. Promo code Julian20 for 20% off. One more time for the road, mizzenandmain.com, promo code Julian20. Also, if you'd like to shop in person, you can find Mizzen & Main in select states. But please use the link to support our show. Wait, they were doing this digitally?
Yeah.
No. And when you said that, I thought you meant like they were actually writing it down.
No. It's like Excel spreadsheets printed out. Yeah, I know. So
Microsoft should cut an ad about that. The cartels use it.
If it works for El Mencho, it'll work for you.
Anything to get our mind off the Epstein files. Don't worry about Bill Gates.
People keep saying that, and it's pissing me off because you know what? Like, multiple things can exist at once.
That's true. And it's just Bill Gates is kind of, he's in some La Trouble or whatever.
For fuck's sake. facts.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to eventually bring this up because this has like been your beat lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is so out of my spectrum of coverage, honestly. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to stay on cartels today.
Okay, good.
I'm just saying that as a side comment because I don't like Bill Gates. That's all.
It's fair enough.
Okay.
I don't really think anyone should, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, yeah, so CJNG has this stronghold, and they have a ton of politicians on their payroll, obviously law enforcement, National Guard, military, and really for them, like obviously it's a lot of money, but then certain police and certain sicarios, like hitmen and stuff, if these spreadsheets are real, which I think that they are, they're not making a lot of money. Like a sicario is making 4,000 pesos a month. That's like in USD, what is that? Like $200?
It's not a lot. I don't know what the translation is, but it's not a lot.
Well, it's like what?
Deef can check it. Either way.
I think like 20 pesos to $1.
I would think they'd be making more than that. I mean.
Yeah, you're putting your life on the line and killing for that much is crazy. But obviously this has to do.
Yeah, 226
US
close. Dollars is a peso. You were right there.
So
for 4,000 pesos.
Yeah, so it's just, it really goes to show how CJNG managed to really infiltrate culture and society as a whole, right? There's so much music. I've talked about this before. I get a lot of hate about this, about how they really became like a propaganda machine. And, you know, like narco corridos, like narco music and movies and media has always existed, but CJNG managed to do it in such a way where they built a brand, okay? And like El Mencho, he loved cockfights, and he was known as El Señor de los Gallos, the man of the roosters. Yeah,
I mean,
roosters.
probably. Yeah. Pause.
Sorry. Because
it's okay.
I couldn't directly translate.
I'm proud of myself. I'm keeping a straight face.
I cannot. I'm sorry.
We'll bleep it out and then we'll cut this part right there.
Okay.
We'll do a bleep and cut it to me, and we'll just have a pause laugh.
Okay. And I also knew this was going to be a problem
I'll
because I've been speaking Spanish the whole time, and I was.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah. So, what were you saying? Hold on. What were you saying before that?
He had a whole brand surrounding him.
All right. So you finished laughing.
So his brand honestly brought more notoriety and was like convincing for a lot of people. When I was over there, I actually went and met with someone who sings and writes really popular narco corridos. He wouldn't give me an interview, but his songs are very much in support of CJNG, and like they have a great beat, and like the lyrics are super catchy. And he actually told me, he was like, you know, what I don't like is how sometimes I get messages or meet people who are like, bro, your music made me join CJNG. And
he doesn't like that?
No, he said, bro, that's not how it's supposed to be. This is fiction. Like, this is not supposed to be convincing you. But this is the problem, right? So a lot of this music, it's like, I've talked about this before, it's like gangster rap, like, especially in the 90s, where it really did like hype people up to join the gang life and stuff like that. Anyways, the point is, CJNG managed to build like this whole brand. Like, if they were to have sold merch, it would have been amazing. No, for real. It would have. How is that funny?
CG.
What?
It was funny to me, indeed.
Clearly. I don't know why.
Imagine you just walking here with like CJNG merch. Yeah, no, I don't. I've heard a lot about. We've talked about it with other people too, about like the music influences and stuff. And it's interesting when you tie it to like gangster rap in America. But I think I was talking with Ed Calderon about this. To me, when you're actually saying the names, which they do in gangster rap sometimes too, by the way, when you're actually saying the names of the gang and like in this case the cartels and totally glorifying it, when in fact also, let's be real, the cartels are what run the country.
Yeah.
You know, like gangs in America aren't good, but they don't run the country. You know, what do you think's going to happen? There's not a lot of opportunity. A lot of people are going to be like, well, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, it seems luxurious. It's like they're talking about how you get to shoot a Scar and have Rolex and G-Wagon or whatever. Like, it's really glorified. Anyways, yeah. So they built this massive empire.
How big, like, size-wise? Like, where's everywhere where they're operating?
They're the 5th largest employer in Mexico.
Okay. Geographically, though, do they spread into other regions that technically aren't theirs?
Yes.
Like crazy?
Yeah, and we saw, honestly, the perfect example of this, and because I had been talking about how they were the most expansive cartel, and I felt like they just had power everywhere because they're also masters of absorption, so they would like go and align themselves with regional mafias or like fragmented cartels, and then they would just absorb that region. But the perfect example of this was how when the Sinaloa cartel fractured, after they captured El Mayo and the Chapitos and La Mesa were going at it against each other, CJNG formed an alliance with Los Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel and was like providing them with arms and stuff. Obviously, that was in a bid to then eventually absorb Sinaloa. And I think that they were getting close to that. I mean, that's like kind of a dangerous thing to say, but to be honest, I think that they were starting to really push their way into Sinaloa, and that would have been crazy because they would have had absolute control over all of the Mexican states.
So that didn't end up happening, though.
Well, it will probably eventually end up happening because this is one thing that has stood out to me is the fact that after, you know, the fall of El Mencho, there has not been any really infighting in the CJNG, which just doesn't really make sense because there are super powerful second in command, third in command of CJNG that I was under the impression that after a few days, these guys would want to splinter off and start their own thing. And a lot of them have their own really loyal following. So when El Mencho was killed, everyone was like, who's going to be the leader? And I was between El 03, which is El Mencho's stepson, and he's a Valencia, his wife, you know, part of the Cuinis. Yeah. It was between him. It was between Jardinero, the guy who's basically heading the alliance between CJNG and Los Chapitos, and it was between Yogur. And everyone who was monitoring the situation for the first time was like, it's Yogur. And I honestly think some people were just saying that because they thought the name was interesting. Yeah, that's Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez.
Where was Nadu on this? Who did he think it was?
I think he thought it was 03 as well.
Okay.
I don't actually remember, but we talked about it. And this guy, El 03, he's an American citizen. He's
an American citizen?
Yeah, he was born in the States. Yeah.
And then what happened? He went back.
Yeah, because that's what you do, right? You go to the States, you learn. It's like, who else did that? Assad, right? No, Assad went to the UK.
You talking about Syria?
Yeah.
He went to the UK. That happens a lot over there.
All the time.
Like where someone from the Middle East, from a power family, will go get schooled in the UK and then go back. I haven't heard, I mean, I'm sure obviously it happens. I haven't heard a ton of that. Well,
Mencho was in the States.
But he wasn't born here.
No, he wasn't.
Right.
But
he came here to do some trafficante stuff, right?
Yep.
That's normal. I mean, I mean, it's not good, but like that's what they do. They set up all their fucking. I mean, we're the buyers of their product in this country. That makes sense. But this guy was he born in like L.A. or something?
He was born in Southern California or Orange County.
Okay. And then when did he go back to Mexico? When he's like 18 or?
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, let's look that up. That'd be interesting.
He was born in Santa Ana.
Santa Ana, yeah, California. In 84, yeah, he has dual citizenship.
Interesting.
I don't know when he went back. I don't actually know if it's known.
El Pelon, LR3, LJP, Tricky Trez, and 03. He's got some pretty hard nicknames.
Yeah, he's known as L03 for the most part. El 03.
03?
Yeah.
03. That's pretty hard. That's pretty hard. Okay. So that looks like the U.S. Department of State indictment against him. The third one, Deef?
I think he has a $5 million bounty.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is him. Let's go down. Let's see what the government said about Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez is one of the alleged leaders of the Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, assessed to be the most violent drug trafficking organization currently operating in Mexico with the highest cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine trafficking capacity. Valencia Gonzalez's mother, Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, as you pointed out, is married to CJNG leader Mencho Ruben Oscarera.
Not anymore. They've been divorced since like 2018.
Okay. El Mencho, making him Valencia Gonzalez's stepfather. El Mencho is also a designated target with a $10 million bounty on his head. Okay, so he's charged with all the regular stuff. Trafficking, conspiracy, murder, all that. Okay. All right, so this was one of them. And then who were the other two again that they were wondering about?
El Jardinero, he's also from Michoacan.
That's
like,
the El Chapitos guy?
Yeah, running the alliance. And the thing about El Jardinero is he actually has like within CJNG his own very loyal following. So I have I don't know, but if anyone's going to splinter off and try to start their own thing, I think it could be Jardinero.
What does that look like if he tries to do that?
A lot of infighting, fight for power, trafficking routes. There's going to be a lot of CJNG retaliation against him, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
He looks like a fucking Olmec statue.
Stop. You always fucking judge their appearances when I come on this podcast.
I'm just saying, look at the guy.
And I literally would get killed for something
like
as simple as that.
Like I'm saying it, not you. So I'll get killed for it.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Okay, you don't, on the record, you don't agree with that. He does look like a garden gnome. But anyway, all right, so Jardinero is another one. And then who's the third again?
El Yogur.
El Yogur.
Yeah.
And what's his story?
So he basically... and there's also El Sapo, the frog. Yeah. And so basically all these guys are sort of running really lucrative areas within Mexico. And it's so because CJNG has such a widespread stronghold, they have to put people in charge of certain regions, right? And so like, yeah, there you go. And he's trending. You know, there's not a lot known about Yogur the same way that we know about El Sapo or El Jardinero. And El Yogur kind of like recently surfaced to public eye type of thing. But he's really high up there in those top 5. And then El Sapo, I'm pretty sure he runs a lot of Zacatecas. It's like with Los Metros, you know, like another group. So everyone has their role and everyone has their loyal following and is very powerful within their own rights. So what I thought was interesting was after El Mencho was killed, the fact that there wasn't like this bid for power and infighting didn't happen immediately. Instead, what we saw happen was one day of chaos.
Yeah, it looked nuts.
Against the Mexican federal government. They were killing National Guards. El Tuli, one of the guys within CJNG, and he was up there with Mencho, told everyone you get 20,000 pesos for every National Guard member that you kill. Then I think like a day later, he was shot down by a minigun from a helicopter in one of the CJNG stronghold regions in Jalisco.
Wait, the guy who put out the bounty was killed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, serves him right.
Like right after. And it was actually quite interesting that this didn't make as much news because he was a very powerful guy and very violent.
But he wasn't one of the main 3 people we're thinking would be a successor when he was El Mencho's right hand?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. He was more of a financial operator. And I think, I honestly do think, though, that possibly him being like, okay, everyone gets 20,000 pesos for taking out the National Guard. And he was the one who told everyone, fucking let's go against the Mexican government. All hell breaks loose. He sent those orders. I think that could have been him kind of trying to push for that power, but he was taken out basically immediately after he put those orders out. And of course, the Mexican government would go hard for that because their National Guard members were dying. I mean, I posted a video on Instagram of
it looked awful.
Them laying on the side of the road by the National Guard vehicle all shot up.
I mean, I'm used to, because we covered a lot in here with people like you to come in and explain it and show us stuff. I'm used to seeing some pretty crazy imagery out of Mexico when the cartels get pissed off or there's some type of war. But that was like,
yeah,
I mean, I'm glad it stopped after a day or whatever, but you're looking at that during the first day where it's happening. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is like the end times right here. I mean, I don't know what you've seen a lot of shit, but
it looked really bad. And I honestly thought, I was like, fuck, if this goes on, a lot of people are going to die and a lot of people are going to get caught up. In the firefights, but it only happened, it only lasted a day.
Now let's go back to Mencho for a second, because we've been talking about all the guys that would follow him up. Mm-hmm. You talked about, obviously, he married into the royal family in Mexico.
Yeah.
He came back here after cutting his teeth, helping with the trafficking operations in America. But CJNG had this really fast rise.
They did.
They came out of
especially
nowhere.
For a pretty new cartel.
Right.
Like it's a 2010 cartel or 2009. So
Now, is he the founder of it, or was he?
He's considered the founder of it, yeah.
Okay.
But if he didn't have the Valencia family, Los Cuinis, backing them, I don't think it wouldn't have happened, especially not the way that it did. And this is another thing is like Rosalinda, she's free. She's out. Like she was in Mexican custody for, I think it was money laundering. And when she was arrested, they found like, I think $12 million in her house. And this was another thing that was weird to me. When El Mencho was captured or killed, they said that they found in the house 17 million pesos and like 900 and something thousand USD, which to me just didn't make sense because you would have way more money than that, like at your disposal.
Yeah.
And I talked to a colleague, I talked to Yoan Grillo about this. He covers this too. And he was like, well, you know, it's possible that they didn't like need that much like on-hand cash. And we just agreed to disagree because I was like, I don't think that he would have under $10 million in cash at his disposal, you know?
At his compound, I would think it's even way more than that too.
Me too.
Think about how big that is.
Me too. And like hidden and stuff like that. I'm under the impression that it's possible that a lot of money got pocketed during the operation. We've seen that happen a lot before where there's like, you know, empty Rolex boxes.
Right.
And
if you're brave enough to go in there, you gotta take your prize of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even, yeah.
You know the feeling. Hours of deep conversation, wild theories, and hard questions. Then it's midnight and your brain's still in overdrive. That's when having the right mattress makes all the difference. Because mental recovery needs physical recovery. And if your bed isn't helping you sleep, it's slowing you down. GhostBed gets it. Their mattresses are built with cooling and comfort in mind so you can actually rest. Whether you run hot when you sleep year-round or just want a bed that won't trap heat like others do, GhostBed has you covered. Every mattress in their lineup is designed for cooling, but the GhostBed Luxe model is the standout. It's got patented cooling tech and a cool to the touch cover that instantly helps you wind down. Not sure if the Luxe is the right fit? Head to ghostbed.com/Julian and take their quick mattress quiz. You'll get a personalized recommendation based on how you sleep, whether you share the bed, and more. Every GhostBed includes their exclusive ProCore layer for extra support through your back and hips, a 101-night sleep trial, and a 20 to 25-year warranty. And right now, my listeners and first-time customers are going to get an extra 10% off on top of GhostBed's already reduced prices. Just go to ghostbed.com/Julian, link in my description below, and use code Julian at checkout. That's ghostbed.com/Julian, link in my description below, promo code Julian to get 10% off site-wide with GhostBed, the makers of the coolest beds in the world.
So that was also odd to me. Anyways, Rosalinda is free. I guess she was on like house arrest, but she's kind of nowhere to be found. And there's obviously a lot of nexus between her family, and the Mexican federal government. She's been sanctioned by OFAC. A lot of her businesses have, but there's still a lot of businesses that she runs that have not been sanctioned by OFAC. And her, daughter with Mencho, Laisha, she was actually pictured at the funeral yesterday. She was living in...
The daughter was.
Yeah. She's the youngest daughter. She was living in, I think, San Bernardino in like a $5 million house that was paid for in cash with her husband. And her husband was actually just arrested last year, I think was when I posted that, last year or the year before. And...
Cartel guy?
Oh, yeah. And he had faked his death. So when he was arrested, people were like, oh, he's alive, right? And like El Mencho had previously faked his death so many times. And then there was also that rhetoric about like El Mencho, like his liver is failing and he has crazy dialysis, which I do believe that he had like cirrhosis and like, wait, is that liver failure? Yeah, it's liver failure, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. But I also didn't really believe it was maybe to the full extent that was being put out to the public to try to give this perception that he's weak and frail,
yeah, like the old mafia Don kind of PR thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
And so anyways, there's obviously clearly a lot of nexus between CJNG, the Cuinis, and the US. And I lost my train of thought and I was going to say something very important.
Well, we were talking about the compound, didn't have a lot of money in it. People were taking their cut and everything.
Yeah,
and then the wife had the money laundering charges, but she was let go. but the daughter's living in a $5 million mansion with a cartel guy who's dead but not dead.
Yeah, and then he gets arrested, and she's back in Mexico. She was pictured at the funeral yesterday. It didn't look like her to me, but it is what it is. We're also the same age, which is like crazy to me. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, ask me something.
Yeah, you forgot where that was. No problem. Well, I'm sure we'll come back over it here because what I wanted to get at with El Mencho, this is why I was asking you about it with like the genesis. So he's like the founder, if you will, and they rise up quickly. He's able to build out, obviously, a fucking machine here of people. Mm-hmm. Would you say, I mean, I think this is kind of what you're saying. I just want to make sure I understand. Literally because he was married to Valencia and had the backing of all that money and that name brand, he was essentially allowed to start his own cartel, meaning the Chapitos or some of the other cartels at the time in the region weren't looking at some new cartel starting and saying, we're going to stop this before it starts. They backed off because of who he was with.
It's quite possible. Okay. But the Sinaloa cartel and CJNG always they were enemies there. And so that's why it was weird. Well, not weird, but it was really shocking when they kind of made that alliance with the Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel. They were not friends. They were adversaries. But because of the amount of money and power that Mencho held, they were able to gain so much manpower and access that at that point it was like, well, these cartels are essentially coexisting.
Right. Now
so that's like in very simple language.
Right. But when they start up, they're bringing in guys who have been in the cartels their whole life, maybe just associated with other ones. And now essentially they're starting this, it's like an expansion franchise in the NBA. So they have people that are experienced, meaning right from the jump, they already had networks all carved out in the United States. It's like they're starting day one. The business has a storefront.
Exactly. Because you're talking about fucking marrying into a family that was basically heading the Millennial Cartel, which had nexus with Pablo Escobar's the Medellin Cartel. Right. So, and they were trafficking. At one point, I think they were trafficking like $30 million worth of cocaine every month, something like that. I mean, you can fact check me on that, but it was just absurd. So yeah, it ran very deep, the connection and the access.
So at what point did Mencho, because when he starts CJNG, I always fuck up.
I always say CJNG, but everyone hears CGNG.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way that I speak. And people are like, you're a dumbass. You don't even know it's CJNG. But
no, I have like the dyslexia with it every time I have to like think about which one's the J and which one's the G because it's similar. So I'm right there with you. But
no, but I'm not getting it wrong. I say CJNG.
I'm sure you're getting it right, but the commenters are going to say otherwise.
Yeah,
who the fuck cares? But at some point though, they get a big enough name that they piss off the United States government. They piss off everyone, even though they're buying off the Mexican government at the time, that he goes into hiding effectively. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, he wasn't necessarily in hiding.
He always kept a low profile. He really did always keep a low profile. This was a guy who was not like El Chapo in the sense where he was fucking trying to live it large and wanted the fame and the notoriety. I mean, there was like a level of, wanting to be highly respected, and he was kind of like this mythological creature, but he kept it very low key. I mean, he was like a typical Mexican like guy from like the rancho. Like he, like I said, he liked the cockfights. He was like this. He would drink. He was also like a family man in terms of he took care of the family very much, and a lot of narco corrido songs that refer to him talk about how at the end of the day he was like with the family.
Right.
So yeah. He was, I think that's why he was able to go undetected for so long. It was also came as a surprise to me when like this whole thing went down because he was super low key.
How long do you think they knew where he was? Because the whole thing was that no one knows where the guy is. If you were guessing how long the government knew, a couple years maybe?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so the way we're told is that the US collected all of the intelligence on this, and then Mexico was the one who did the boots on the ground operation. Now, what I find odd about this, well, there's a lot of things I find odd about this.
Well, let's just start at the top. What's the first thing?
Okay, I'm going to go through like a couple hypothetical kind of situations with this. And because I was there and I saw all the shit and I was like, this is like insulting my intelligence. So I could see, so the US has been giving, since Trump's administration, has been giving Mexico a list every couple of months of guys that they need gone. Okay?
We want them gone.
You could literally, right? You can hear it. Yeah. And Mexico sometimes would fulfill this list, sometimes not. And I think that also CJNG was at a point where they were becoming so powerful that the US believed that unless they applied the Kingpin strategy, there was nothing else that they could do to put a dent in this cartel.
And as a review for people out there, the Kingpin strategy is?
When you take out the Kingpin.
And that's it. That's just go right for the head.
Yeah, you just go right for the head of it. Which I am a big proponent of hating the Kingpin strategy. It's completely ineffective and it ends up, it's like a hydra, like you chop off the head and two worse ones grow back.
You should have told them before I ran. It seems to be what we do around the world.
It is.
Yeah.
US loves the Kingpin strategy and I'm really just not sure why. I think it's just because it's like the easy get, perhaps.
It's a headline.
It is. It is. And it makes the US, especially for ill-informed people, it makes the administration look incredibly powerful. Like we took him out.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, but it doesn't work. And it also typically will cause a lot of infighting, like what we saw what happened in Sinaloa when they got Chapo and then they got Mayo, and it was like so many innocent people's lives were absolutely ruined or they were killed. So Kingpin strategy just provokes more violence, more power, and almost like more of a will to be like, we're going to double down and we're going to make this stronger.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
Yeah, the more I watch things when you study history and then watch modern history as it happens around the world, the more I watch how things turn out with something like the Kingpin strategy, which is the way a lot of governments have thought throughout time, the more I'm like, it's a really uncomfortable thing to say, but sometimes you have to deal with the devil you know, because it's like if I could have 40% of what I want and be pissed off about the 60 I don't, I'd rather be in that situation than have fucking 5% of what I want and be pissed off about the 95. And there's just something about the human ego, and I understand this, that's unacceptable to me.
Yep.
And then that's how a decision gets made. And then you get these vacuums, which again, you laid this out last time.
Yeah, we talked literally exactly
and we're watching it unfold right now.
Yeah.
In real time.
Yeah. And so I think that it got to a point where the US probably told Mexico, you know what? We got to take out this Kingpin. CJNG is way too powerful. We've sanctioned them to the tits and it's not working. You guys are trying to get like lower level guys within the organization and it's not working. So we're going to take them out. And if you guys don't do it, we're going to pull a unilateral operation and get our boots on the ground in Mexico more than there already are. And
more than there already are.
Yeah. And we're going to go and do it. And we're going to take credit because Mexico cannot handle this crisis. So we're going to go in and we're going to make you guys embarrassed. And it's also important to keep in mind that President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico is a big proponent of a sovereign Mexico and no U.S. intervention. So if the U.S. gathered all of this intelligence, here's El Mencho. We know this. Why? Because his girlfriend, who is allegedly this like Mexican heiress, is going to visit him. And through a secondary person who knows her and where she's going and who she's going with, we've tracked exactly where he's at. And okay, Friday night, she goes to visit him. Saturday, she leaves. 2 helicopters are flying around that compound for a couple hours.
Whose helicopters?
Mexico's.
Okay.
Sunday, Mencho's captured and killed and dies in transportation. I don't believe that. I don't believe he died.
That was the story.
Yeah, that was the story. Now,
they literally put their helicopters in eyesight right there above the compound, flying around.
Everyone I spoke to in the town, and only one guy was willing to go on the record because they're so scared to speak out about this. Fair enough. That was the same thing that happened when I worked in Sinaloa. Everyone heard and saw them. Everyone.
And he didn't leave.
No, he stayed.
That's okay. I see. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm clocking.
And so anyways, this is the story, right? And then there's a shootout. They pull him into the helicopter along with, I think it was like 3 other of his guys. Also, the plane that they transported them in is like very small. I forget what it's called.
They pulled his body. They pulled him into the helicopter.
Well, apparently they brought him in because he was still alive at this point.
So they land the helicopter. It's not like they're dropping down a ladder or something.
I don't know if it was a helicopter plane. I think it was, and I have the name of it, the aircraft on the tip of my tongue. But anyways, it's a small aircraft essentially.
So they get it on the ground. They bring him in.
Yeah, and then 3 of his guys, I think, and they all die in transport.
They might have been fucked up.
And so that's essentially the story of how El Mencho was captured and killed.
A day after seeing these helicopters that everyone could see.
Like a few hours. Yeah, because it was like it happened on Saturday and then I think it was like Sunday early morning. So late Saturday night, Sunday early morning.
And you said that, let's go back into the mission though, and the specifics, because you said this earlier.
Oh, yeah.
25 Mexican military guys
National
Guard guys died, and 12 that we know of
his men.
Of his men died. Does that include the 3 in the aircraft?
I think so. Okay. Yeah.
So what is the story at least of how they assaulted the compound? Do we have is there any drone footage of the compound that we could look at that might help people?
And I have some. I could have brought, sorry.
That's all right. We'll see if we can pull it up, but go ahead.
Anyways, so that's the road actually right there to drive in to that compound. I actually saw the remnants of those vehicles.
Oh, you know what, Kat? I forgot to do this earlier. This would be helpful. Can you give Deef the name of the town again so we can pull up
Tapalpa.
The map so people can kind of get an idea? Let's do a topography map of it, Deef, so people can
Jalisco.
see.
Yeah.
Just like get bearings on where the location is, how remote it might be.
It's a pain in the ass to get up there.
It's up in the foothills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So when we're looking at where is it, Deef? Right there. So we're seeing the separation between like the mountains and the valley right there. Okay. And then can you zoom all the way out, Deef, so we can get an idea just for people at home? So, southwestern Mexico. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so
the mission, we're talking about the mission now and what they reportedly did.
So this is what we're told, that essentially the military came through the forested area in front of all of these cabins that are on like this hilly region. Okay. Keep in mind, when I went there, okay, and we're told that El Mencho ran from those cabins through a forest behind into the country club. I was fucking huffing and puffing going from house to house, okay? And like I work out and I'm 25. This guy's 59 years old. Apparently,
with liver failure.
Yeah, on dialysis. But apparently he's booking it through there. In the videos, and everyone will see the video of my whole tour of this area. I'm literally like, I get to the top and I'm like, guys, give me a second. Like I taste blood because you're literally going, like it is a mountainous region. And so it's these winding roads between these cabins. So anyways, there's a forested area, which now is all burned down to the ground. It's all char because fire broke out from grenades and the shootout. And so firefighters couldn't get there. So it's just all basically black and charred. And so apparently from this main highway road, which by the way, you can fucking see every single car driving on this main highway road from the cabin compound. It's a very strategic location. The military came through the forest. All of the guys from the cabins start freaking out. They come down in the forest. There's this massive firefight. A bunch of people die. And to be fair, like I did see blood. I did see remnants of grenades and bullets, shell casings. Like, yeah.
It looked normal-ish.
it looked like there was a firefight.
Right.
For sure.
Meaning you weren't looking at it going, this looks staged. It looks like people were actually dying there.
It looked like, yeah, something happened. Did it look like the remnants of an operation to capture El Mencho? No.
Why do you say no? Because like I'm almost wondering like, what would I expect it to look like? You know what I mean?
I was expecting to see way more bullets and shell casings and
Blood.
But I mean, there was a fire. So and everything is burned. So it's hard to say if what would be still lasting there. At one point, like I found this one bullet and I go to pick it up and my cameraman's like, stop, like it could be active. And it's like some of the fire is still smoldering. Well, I don't know now, but when I was there, like it's still smoldering. So you're walking through and it's like smoking underneath you. But anyways, then apparently forces push through. They come up to the cabins and El Mencho allegedly takes off from the cabins through forest behind these cabins to get into the country club, which is where his main house was. But
are you talking about like an actual golf course country club kind of deal?
Yeah, literally. And then in the forest where he tries to escape through is where he's shot at and they capture him.
All right. One part I was thinking about here, and I might be overthinking this because I've just seen too much cartel shit in the past. Guy's lived out in the foothills for a long time. Like you said, he's got health problems as well. He's been the most powerful cartel person in Mexico for a while now. He's got this whole compound set up with all his soldiers there. He's got the second place where it's the country club where he's got a main residence that he can get to. And it's foothills, so you can dig through shit. How the hell did he not have some sort of tunnel dug or something like that? Some sort of escape valve, if you will.
I don't know. And I was actually trying to look for shit like that.
Yeah.
I went into every single house here and everything was wide open. Actually, all the lights were on in all of the houses.
Well, it was dark out when the firefight started.
Yeah, they had to see, right? Yeah. So, I don't know.
That's inside right there?
Yeah, and I do have to say that some of these houses that had like broken windows or shell casings in them that did not smell like gunpowder, but I don't know, I got there 2 days after, I guess. They were not being inhabited. Like people weren't living there, okay? And I'll tell you why, because I mean, you can fucking tell. Like the curtains were like just covered in dust, but not like dust of like there was a firefight, but just like, you know, when you go to like, it's like some place where no one's lived for a while and it's like a canvas curtain and then all the white dust like is on you. That literally, I have that on the video.
Can we pull up Kat's Instagram?
I don't know if I have that, like, cause I have it in video, the long form episode that's going
but you
out.
at least put like some of the
Okay, so
okay,
wait, go back to that website you were on. No, so you were showing a house. Go to a house that you showed.
Right there.
That one. So if this house, okay, is where I shot this video you guys are about to see.
So this is in the compound.
Yes.
This is one of the soldiers'
cabins,
homes.
Allegedly where some of his men were staying. So this video, yes, is in there.
Okay, let's get some volume on this bad boy. See what we got. Go ahead.
Hideout houses, and you can see these. Yeah. So these are 50 caliber shells, but there's absolutely no damage in this house at all. I don't know. It just looks kind of weird to me. Like, oh, they were defending themselves and there was a massive shootout.
There's no bullet holes.
You walk through.
All the windows were intact.
House. There's more casings over there.
There's casings there.
There's not a single bullet hole. There's not a
zero
shattered window.
And four of us spent hours trying to find something.
So we're in one of the hideout houses and you can see
This wasn't just like, oh, I just took a glance, okay? I was fucking like, we were looking to disprove, you know, that there's no
bullet holes in a place filled with bullet casings.
And then go back to the photo of that house. So you see that little garage right there, bottom left? Yeah. There's a white Jeep parked in there with the keys in there, by the way. I turned on the car. There's on that driveway, there's a shit ton of 50 cal casings. That car there is not a dent in that car. Not a dent. And then the front license plate of the car is removed. And so then at first glance, you're like, oh, that's a narco vehicle. And one of the guys I was with was like, look, there's no license plate. I go, no, look in the top left of the windshield. There's a license plate right there.
All right, let's play this out. So to review, he lives up in the foothills. There's helicopters reported by everyone who lives in the area the day before, 2 helicopters circling. That night or in the mid-morning, the next morning, suddenly Mexican military comes up through the hills in the forest, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Alarms obviously go off, or, they're signaled such that his men come down from the cabins, and there's allegedly this firefight with bullets and grenades right there down in the forest / on the road to get up into the compound.
Mm-hmm.
They try to get Cirrhosis El Mencho out of his place into the country club across.
And you can see from this photo, do you see that hill, like how it's slanted like that?
Yeah.
It's all like steep hills to walk through there. So yeah, so Cirrhosis El Mencho was running through that.
And by the way, actually, here's a good question while I go through this. Where is
that smoke
is his
area?
compound up to the right here?
It'll be to the left.
To the left. Now the smoke, what is that?
That's part of the fire.
So
obviously,
where they came
so
up.
it's alleged that he ran through a path in that foresty area to get to the country club house.
Okay. So they allege that when he was running on that path, they shot him and the men around him, and then the Mexican military during this firefight, of which they lost 25 people, they were able to get him onto an aircraft, and on that aircraft, his 3 men that they brought on there with him and him died.
Yes.
Okay. You go into this house, though,
and
which
it's
is
littered with 50 cal shell casings, but there's no bullet holes.
There's no bullet holes. There's no damage to the car
I checked
down below.
all of those windows. I checked the wooden doors. And, people were saying to me, they're like, it's because you don't understand how houses are made in Mexico. They're not using shitty materials. Not to fucking withstand a 50 cal.
It's no,
Sorry,
what's it? No, it's all good. What's it, a fucking metal house?
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. So
that being said, in front of these cabins, so between where the cabins start and where the forest ends, there's this big kind of open, kind of like a parking lot, okay? There was all of these personal belongings littered everywhere. Clothes, food remnants, there was like a little barbecue, a bunch of food, stuff, like everything was just littered there. There's a pickup truck parked there, and a little motorcycle. That pickup truck and that motorcycle had no bullet holes on them. They were in perfect condition.
And you videoed this for your long form?
I did. We can actually go to that video. I have it on my Instagram. But then on that truck, there's this little smear of blood.
Which video?
That one.
That one? All right,
you can see the truck behind me.
Some volume. Cool. So this is that
Drive
same
to the
house.
location in Tapalpa, Jalisco, where El Mencho was captured a few days ago. This is literally the house he was staying at. I'm outside of it right now.
It wasn't.
This seems to be an area right in front of the house where his punteros, his lookouts, were looking out. They were camping out here to keep an eye out. There's towels and food remnants, sheets, and then there's a truck here and a motorcycle, and you can see there's actually blood on this truck.
So behind me right there is the forest area.
It looks like the military came through kind of like this way.
Yeah.
All of this forest in front of me is burned. Even some of it's still smoldering. But I'm seeing bullet shell casings everywhere. Obviously the blood, and then remnants that shit really hit the fan here. One thing I'm seeing
This is me in that house we
is,
mentioned.
I've seen some blood here and there. A lot of
Here.
50 cal shell casings.
Yeah,
or
somewhere
whatever.
else.
Is there any? There's some right here.
You see the Jeep behind me.
You guys can see there and over here. There's a vehicle behind me. It doesn't have front plates, but the plates are still right there. It's also it's not an armored car by any means, not bulletproof. There's absolutely no damage to this house, but there are 50 caliber shell casings everywhere. And yet all of the walls, the windows, the vehicles are completely intact. I just arrived to the location in
All right. So this is what I'm getting at. That's the story we've been told. You're clearly finding things that do
Don't
not
line up.
at all.
And I'm not trying to be like
inarguably.
conspiracy.
No.
It just looks weird.
It's inarguable. There's a bunch of bullet casings with no holes, no blood, and
So
the house looks like it's unlived.
who were they shooting at? So what? They had the front door open and they were just boom, kill, boom, kill.
Right.
What do you have, a fucking sharpshooter in that house?
So what do you think happened?
I don't know, but let me go pee first, and then I'll give you my theories.
All right, we'll be right back. When Deef and I were in Europe a couple months ago, we did a lot of walking. Ain't that right, Deef?
Oh, yeah.
And no matter how much we did, I was comfortable every day in my Rag & Bone infused denim jeans. All I had to do was throw those suckers on in the morning, and I felt good, looked good, and was good for the rest of the day and night. Rag & Bone Infused offers a range of fits tailored for any style or occasion. From slim and straight to athletic and relaxed, infused denim is a wardrobe staple that pairs perfectly with any outfit in whatever fit you prefer. When you throw them on for the first time, they feel like they've been broken in forever. They stretch where it counts and have structure where it matters. Personally, I'm a big sweatpants guy when I'm lounging around the house, so when I go out in jeans, I want them to feel like they're sweatpants too. And with Rag & Bone, that's exactly what you're going to feel like. You used to have to choose between jeans that looked great and jeans that actually lasted. With Rag & Bone infused denim, you finally get both. Crafted with a proprietary 8-step overdye process, Rag & Bone gives each piece a rich dimensional color that gets better with every wash. As an aside, guys, they're really fashionable and you can wear them with any kind of shirt or fit that you're looking for. And these things are built to last too. Rag & Bone has spent the last 20 years obsessed with making jeans that get better over time. Their infused denim lasts season after season and actually gets more comfortable the more you wear them. So it's time to upgrade your denim with Rag & Bone. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get 20% off their entire order using code Julian at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with promo code Julian. That link is in my description below. Hit that down there. When Rag & Bone asks you where you heard about them, please support our show and tell them I sent you. All right, so back to it. Again, this is pure speculation. You were able to at least see the scene, though. You've been there. You know things are out of line.
Yeah.
I agree with what you found. It's out of line.
It looks weird, right?
Whatever the story is, we know it's not what they're telling us. So just a guess, if you had to piece it together, what do you think might have actually happened here?
Okay, I'm going to run through various ideas of what could have possibly happened and certain theories. And I'm not saying, like I 100% believe any of them. And I'm also not like discrediting any of them. This is just certain possibilities. Okay. So first, and something that could be very realistic is that, yes, this operation went down exactly the way the Mexican government is telling us, and they captured and killed him. But then they also wanted it to look more powerful and interesting than it really was. And so they scattered some 50 cal bullets and made it look like, they went through this fucking war to get him, which is why they then left this area wide open for the press to just walk on and completely contaminate it and do whatever we wanted to there. That's a possibility. A second possibility is that nothing happened at this area that I was at, and it maybe all went down at the country club. And
so why would they stage this area? What's the difference
so that
between
the press
down?
could go in there and show people that the Mexican military did this huge operation without actually going to the real crime scene?
So they didn't let people to the country club?
No. So, let me give you some context about that. So I tried to go to the country club twice. So Reuters was able to get into that main house on the country club. And I'm pretty sure they were the only outlet that was able to get in there.
That's sketchy.
When I got to the country club entrance, there are basically like casetas, like what do you call that? Like every time I come on your podcast, I feel like Hilaria Baldwin, like trying to. It's horrible. I'm serious. It's so embarrassing.
I didn't see that coming. That was really good.
But there's like the little, like the boxes with the person in it, and you talk to them, and you're like, hey, like, can you? It has like the arm, like, when you go through like a paid toll highway.
Yes.
And you have to like hand the money to the woman in like the little box, and then the arm lifts up.
Yeah.
So they have that. What do you call that in English?
That was fine. I don't even know what you call that. Drawbridge? I have no fucking idea.
Anyways, like the little.
I got it. Yeah.
So that they have.
All right, Deef.
But
Deef's just talking shit over here today.
But you're not paying to get into this country. Anyways.
I got you.
So it's basically like the security. What are you guys fucking?
I'm not. It's all him. He's just like, he's on one today.
Anyway, the Hilaria Baldwin really got him for some reason.
That was good. Let's get Alec Baldwin on the podcast. I keep forgetting that one. I feel like that'd be fun.
He's local.
Yeah, I want to know what happened.
Oh my God. That was a very sad story.
It was very sad.
Anyways, so they have a few of those boxes with like security and then the arms so you can't just drive right in. When I pull up to it on the first day, there's no one in any of those boxes and all the arms are down, and you basically have to press on the intercom and someone will talk to you to let you in. And there were no police, no military there, but there were at least two very visible cartel lookouts that were right in front. Yeah. And so one of the guys that I was with, because I had hired some people to come with me. I know like everyone always gives me shit for doing stuff alone. I did not do this assignment alone.
Yeah, thank God.
There was no way.
By the way, a quick little side path. Sorry to get you off, but when you go to do something like this, even if you hire a few people, aren't you worried that like if you go there and
I know that the people aren't like by any means a security blanket. It's just in terms of like the gathering and the workflow just makes it easier because I'm not doing everything alone and it also just makes me more anxious being alone.
I'll bet.
Yeah, and I was doing it alone a lot, but now I to gather all of this content, I need to have a team.
Yeah. So you see the two cartel lookout guys.
Yeah, and like one of the guys I'm with kind of starts panicking and I'm like, don't worry, they're not going to do anything to us. Let's just drive up. And I drove for a lot of this trip and you'll see that in the content, which is like not ideal for filming, but I, like woman on top. If I'm not doing it, like someone's going to do it wrong type of thing, right? So I'm like, we can just drive up. We drive up and the cartel lookouts don't say or do anything, but intercom is like, no, we have no press is allowed in. It's an order from the government. You can't come in. Okay. We leave, go to the cabins. The next day I'm like, let's try again. And the people I'm with are like, there's no way.
When did the Reuters guys get in there? Was it the day?
The day before.
Were you able to talk to anyone from their team who got in there?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
And so basically the next day I take out Kash and I'm like, let's go in. It's Mexico.
It's Mexico. Hey, why in Mexico?
It's funny because when I first started in journalism, they're like, never pay, never give gifts. It goes against like journalistic standard practices. And I'm like, well, I don't think that really applies to covering cartels. Okay.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, there's certain areas where it's like, I'm not interviewing the mayor of fucking small town Virginia here. Okay.
You gotta give him a taste,
So we go back and there's a bunch of military blocking it off.
The next day.
Yeah. So
when you say a bunch of military, are we talking like 20, 30 guys?
No. But there was some elements of military and it was a no-go zone. And those guys are really stern on that and they don't like to be filmed and it's like a whole thing. So I was like, you know what? Let's not even try. Let's go. I also I didn't have enough cash to pay all of them off. I'm being facetious, guys. But so yeah. So anyways, we leave and there was just no way for us to get into that country club. Now, another thing that could have happened, another theory, is that El Mencho has already been dead. And I interviewed a lot of people who this is what they believe in Mexico. El Mencho has been dead for a while. El 03 has been in El Mencho's position for a while, which is also probably why infighting didn't break out. And in order to please the United States government so that they chill with their lists of people that they want, CJNG came to an agreement with the Mexican government and said, look, you can get the U.S. off your back. Everyone will stay on our payroll. You let us continue operating as normal, but you guys can say that you took out Mencho. But at the same time, what evidence or proof was given to the U.S. government then, if that was already the case, to believe that he was killed? Maybe he already died at the compound and CJNG and the Mexican government came to an agreement that, hey, he's dying. So as soon as he dies, you guys can take credit and take his body. This is the first time really ever that we haven't seen a picture of the body. It was closed casket, which I mean, if he
golden casket.
Yeah. Isn't it just like him, Michael Jackson and like an Egyptian like king that have had that?
Yeah. I was like, can we pull that up, Dave? El Mencho's casket.
Oh, gold casket. And also, did you see the bouquet of roses in the shape of a rooster? because he was the señor of the
That's
Roosters.
right. He went out cockfighting. All right. Do we have it? Yeah, there it is. Look at what a waste. You fucking burying gold.
Listen, aside from a waste, I think for a lot of Mexican families and people who were victims of extreme violence by the cartels, this is just an additional slap in the face.
Agreed.
You know, you have this really ostentatious funeral service, super luxurious. And there's so many missing and murdered people that were obviously at the hands of the cartel. And
I agree. It's worse than a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, can the Mexican government even do anything about that? Because he's dead. His family's technically allowed to do what they want.
When I was in Tapalpa, it was during this time where there was this back and forth between, this is going to sound crazy, back and forth between CJNG and the Mexican government because they wanted his body repatriated to the family. And so CJNG requested formally to the Mexican government, like I think through a lawyer. I'm not even joking. I know.
Fucking Abogado's got to go in there and say, give me the body.
So there was like this letter sent, and I'm pretty sure the president said that it was fake. Mexican president said it was fake, but see, Mencho's family requested his body. They said that if they don't get the body by X date and time, that all hell was going to break loose. Mexico didn't give the body, but nothing really happened. And then eventually they did allegedly give the body back. I think the reasoning here was obviously they didn't want to give the body because they didn't want like a shrine to be built for him at the cemetery.
Right.
You know, you've seen those photos and videos of the massive, so basically a mansion for a tombstone.
Yes.
And, you know, people will go there and like, it's glorified. So they'll pay their respects and they'll do whatever the hell. But anyways, so that's another theory, is that he was already dead or he was dying and there was this agreement to get the U.S. off the back. But there had to obviously have been some sort of evidence for the U.S. to be satisfied with this operation.
Now, okay, there's a lot going on there.
I know.
On the surface, that makes sense. That's a very interesting theory. And at first, that makes sense. And I think it would make the most sense that he wasn't dead for a while. It would make the most sense that they waited until he literally drew his last breath and they're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, so that at least they would have a body.
Right? And a fresh body, if you will. Couple issues. Just I'm trying to poke holes in this to see what else there could be on the table if we're missing something.
That he faked his death. That
I wasn't even going to go there yet, but let's put a bookmark in that.
Yeah.
Because that's possible.
Okay.
The fact that there was so much bloodshed that affected right down to civilians the next day, you would think something like that would have been agreed for something like this, where the Mexican government is going to the most dangerous cartel and saying, hey, all right, we're going to make a little deal. You guys are going to be allowed to operate. We're going to give a pound of flesh when your guy dies to the U.S. Trump's going to be happy. And then, you know, you go your way, we go our way. The fact that they would make that deal, and a part of that deal would say, yeah, and you know, there's going to be a lot of violence the next day too, and you're going to kill a lot of civilians, but just make sure you cut it after a day. That seems like a bridge too far. That's actually unnecessary.
Really? How else would you sell it? Also, I'm pretty sure one civilian died. The rest of them were National Guard.
So that was everything we were seeing was just National Guard, even though they were shooting up all these public places.
Yeah.
Only one civilian died.
Yeah.
That's actually somewhat impressive. That's true?
Yeah.
Can we check that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then also,
so they're sacrificing their own military guy. Like, yeah, we know you're gonna have to come back at us and hit us.
I mean, you know, maybe it went too far. Maybe that wasn't part of. You know, this is all hypothetical. Can we just say that? Because I don't want people to be like, she sounds like fucking Candace Owens talking about Charlie Kirk. So.
Okay, based on reports following the death of Jalisco New Generation Cartel leader Mencho, at least 73 people died in resulting violence in military, which was lower than I thought. While the total death toll exceeded 70, the majority of these fatalities were identified as cartel members and security forces. Initial reports from authorities and news outlets mention at least one confirmed civilian death. You're right. And that's another thing. Like, 73 bodies is a lot, by the way. I don't want to minimize that. It is. It seemed a lot worse with the imagery we were seeing and hearing about the airport being shut down.
Isn't that kind of the point?
Sheltering in place. Kind of the point.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right. I see what you're saying. Get a good angle. Send it to the U.S. I got you. Okay.
And I think that, fuck, I'm going to get so canceled for this, but I mean.
It's all right.
The president is so like really standing down on Mexico is a sovereign nation.
Sheinbaum.
Yeah. That, yeah, we'll do whatever it takes so that U.S. doesn't launch a unilateral operation.
Yeah, this gets into other recent events too. There's kind of some overlap here, so maybe we should bring this in. You had a Delta Force mission to extract the leader of a sovereign country on January 2nd because of drugs. Okay, Venezuela moves drugs. We know that. Compared to Mexico, they move 3 baggies and a fucking 8-ball.
Yeah.
All right? Like, it's not even, it's nothing.
It's a drop.
But we've declared terror organizations to our neighboring country that's even closer than Venezuela. And we haven't invaded there to, go boom, boom, boom on all these guys.
Exactly.
It feels like, maybe I got a little tinfoil hat on here, but it feels like there's some sort of tacit agreement to the PR campaign that is, meaning a tacit agreement between Sheinbaum and Trump, where it's like, we're going to say all this shit. We're going to declare them terrorist organizations, whatever. You help us out, maybe give us a pound of flesh once in a while so we can market it to the public. But like, we're not going to come in there. We're not going to actually do like what we did in Afghanistan or something like that.
And I also think because logistically, like the proximity, obviously, of U.S. to Mexico, if there were U.S. boots on the ground, it obviously increases the chance that there's going to be some sort of retaliation against Americans. This was one thing that was really pissing me off. I'm not going to lie. When I was seeing how people in Puerto Vallarta, people, on vacation, Americans and Canadians who were like, I'm in the middle of a war zone. And it's like, shut up and drink your pina colada. They're not going to fucking kill you. Like, be so for real right now. Like, are you with the cartel? Are you with the Mexican government? You probably couldn't even name the fucking Secretary of National Security of Mexico. Nobody gives a fuck about you, John. Literally. And they're all like on Instagram like, oh my God. It's like, shut up. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that, and then President Sheinbaum's response was also just like really weird to me because as all of this was going on, like the chaos, every morning she does her morning press conference, and this was probably like her most viewed one ever. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And she just gets up there and she's like, "Everyone remain calm. Like, we have control. No need to panic. It'll all be okay." And he's gone. Like, if I was Sheinbaum and I seriously stand by this, I would have went up there and been like, Mencho died like a dog. Like al-Baghdadi. I would have been like, Mencho died like a dog. This is the future of a sovereign and liberated Mexico. This is war against the cartels. And we want all of you who hate the cartels, all of you who have missing and murdered family members, all of you who have been victims of these people, band together. We're fucking taking them on. And we have the support of the United States government. This is going to be the new beginning, the end of drug cartels.
If I could see it her way for 1 second, she'd be dead before she got off the stage if she did that. They'd be like, okay, time for her to go. Like, that's the shitty thing. They have such inroads to they are the ultimate parasite.
I know. They
have inroads. I mean, you've done some amazing interviews with guys where it's so clear. Like, you're talking about like the governor of the region. And it's like, well, he's on the fucking payroll.
Dude, they're like, they don't even hide it.
They don't even hide it. So actually, though.
Actually, you want to, this is crazy.
Oh, please.
When I was in, I'm not going to say exactly where. I don't want to get in trouble. But one of the regions that I was in when I was reporting on this, I went out one night just like kind of touring the town in the middle of the night to see what was going on. And there was a local politician and he was soliciting a hooker.
That's it?
Yeah.
That was news?
Take that out. Fine.
No, it was fine. It was good. We don't take those things out. It was a funny joke. A politician getting a hooker.
I know, it's common.
Revolutionary.
Okay, sorry. Right. I'm gonna get so much hate for that now.
Can you get the on Twitter, Deep? There's a video of Claudia Sheinbaum talking about the human rights of the cartel.
Okay, but to be fair, in her defense, unlike her predecessor, AMLO.
I think that's it, Tiff. Yeah.
Who he was always saying like abrazos no balazos, hugs not bullets. She's never explicitly said abrazos no balazos.
Okay. All right. So if necessary, we'll mobilize. We don't want taxes on reminiscent. No. I'm sorry, not that one. But I think that's the right press conference. Do Sheinbaum. Oh, wait. What does that one say?
Pero si no aprueba, no se aprobó. No. Oh, no, she's talking about electoral reform.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Yes, here we go. Yeah, where she's talking about going
she
to
got
war
mad that this was getting shared after the El Mencho thing because she said things change and this was in the past.
Oh, this was before.
Yeah. This wasn't following. Everyone was sharing it like it was following.
Well,
this
then
was,
you know what? Let's not do that. If this was before and she's changed her tune on that, then
yeah, this was before. And
she was basically what she was saying was, we don't want to go to war. It wasn't hugs, not bullets, but it was a similar
more
kind of
passive
cringe.
take.
Yeah, it was like they have rights too. You can't just go after them. And actually, if I could steelman that for a second, it's just a little weird to talk about it in Mexico because it's like, oh, suddenly we care about individual
Human
rights, right?
Yeah.
But what she's saying is, because they are technically citizens of Mexico, they deserve a fair trial. The argument against that is they own the fucking courts. They own they own the cops. They own the government. There's no such thing as a fair, like you have to, the US declared them terror groups, easy for us to do because it's not our country, right? You may need to do something like that internally and put language in such a declaration that does not set precedent such that you can do it to lesser people in the future, meaning people that aren't cartel just because you don't like them. Like criminals you want to go after, you just, anytime you see a criminal, eventually you could be like, he's a terrorist, therefore they have no rights. I understand the precedent, but like when you have such a strong, long, demonstrated history of these groups wreaking havoc across your country, and on every environment and community that they're around, you might need to do something a little different than like, hey, let's just let the courts handle it.
Another way her policy contradicts itself is that when she's saying the human rights stuff, and going by, legalities over the course of the last year, there have been, I think like 4, maybe 5 at this point, expulsions of Mexican fugitives to the United States, and it was not done under the extradition treaty, which was the policy outlined so that when these fugitives, like for example, when El Chapo was extradited to the US, he cannot face the death penalty under the policy of the extradition treaty. Whereas over the last year, when the same thing happened, these fugitives were expelled from Mexico to the US to face Mexican justice system. It was not done under the extradition treaty, so they were at risk, I guess, of facing the death penalty.
How's that legal?
They're internationally wanted fugitives, and so they committed crimes against Americans. So America has the right to request for them to face an American court. And so the paperwork was done in order to send them to the US, but they were not extradited, they were expelled and transferred to the US. None of them got the death penalty, not even Caro Quintero, who was responsible for the death of DEA agent Kiki Camarena. But a lot of people believed, he's going to get the death penalty.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of earlier. One of the 5 guys you showed me, the last guy, the younger looking one with the long hair.
Yeah.
Literally looks like the dude who played Caro Quintero.
Oh, really?
In Narcos.
I didn't
was
notice
looking at
that.
I'm like, I feel like we already got the actor for Narcos season 3.
I think
Just recast him.
Narcos season 3 is going to be crazy.
Yeah, listen, like fucking the Netflix execs and the Narcos production team was watching this, and it was like the scene in The Office where they're like, everyone remain calm, it's happening. Like, let's fucking do it.
For sure.
But it would be different if they're doing something as it's unfolding.
Yeah.
Right? So they do a season that's covering like all this shit that just happened, and then like shit's continue. I mean, I'm not rooting for violence and everything, but obviously like it's kind of chaos a little bit, and there may be more chaos to come probably. Hope there's not. Probably will be.
Hope there's not too,
and then
but
like season 2 can be like, yo, they're writing it while they're watching the news. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, because it's not like back in the day where they were like talking about fucking Amado Carrillo and stuff like that, where, that's already done, but it's happening in real time now.
All right. So our possible theory is that he was dying or already dead, and this was a pound of flesh for, some underground, handshake agreement to be like, you do your thing, we do ours, everyone's happy, let's move on. What about the other theory you brought up, which is that he faked his own death? Is there anything to that?
The thing is, I think really what's to that is that he's done it so many times before. His son-in-law did it. He's been known to fake his own death. And that's part of him being the type of guy who lays under the radar. Chapo never faked his death that I know of. And sometimes it was very believable. We've seen people literally go on the record and be like years ago and be like, yeah, he's dead. I think he's dead. I was actually up until probably just maybe 8 months ago was still getting messages of people being like, do you think he's dead or alive?
When you say people, like sources in the cartel?
No, random
Okay.
people.
All right.
But people in the cartel,
Okay.
yeah, no.
Well, I know, because I know sometimes you do talk to people. Doesn't mean they're in the room with them or anything. But like, I'd be curious to know if there were rumors among actual sicarios or guys like that who might have been saying, even from other factions, like from the Chapitos or something, like, yo, I think he might be dead. That'd be pretty interesting.
So the rumors that I've heard from certain sources within the cartels, and especially in this region, were that he was dying. I feel like that person in those movies where it's like, you're like all strung out and you have all the pictures on the wall with like threads connecting it.
It's like the Charlie from Always Sunny meme.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I feel like. But I don't want it to sound like I'm crazy. It's just that after being there and considering the context of everything I know surrounding this, it's weird. And the fact that chaos broke out, it only happened for one day. I know, and it's obviously not great. But when I saw this news, when it broke, I was like, oh, fuck. So many people are going to die. And so many people are going to lose their livelihoods. Like, it's going to be like what happened in Sinaloa.
and then it stopped.
And there was nothing.
Right? Now, what was that stop? Because you were flying in, like when it was stopping, I guess. What was that stoppage like? Like they had shut down a lot of shit. As you laid out earlier, it was pretty much just cartel and military guys killing each other. It wasn't as much civilians, but people were still spooked in these areas. When it stopped, was it like cockroaches just scattering off the street and then everyone's like, oh, we're back to normal now?
Yeah, like there was no more burning buses in the middle of the streets and narco blockades. And so it was difficult for me because, like, obviously on the day the chaos broke out, I couldn't get from Mexico City to Guadalajara, to Jalisco, because there were narco blockades all across the highways and the airports were closed in Jalisco. So I was reaching out to people, and I had people like, thank you to some of the subscribers that were like, I have a small aircraft, I can try to get you in. But it was just, I didn't know what to expect from the situation. And then all of a sudden, everything opened up like normal. I got there and all I saw was remnants of the burned buses all along the highways, but there were no more burning buses. There were no more narco blockades. I mean, sure, there were punteros, cartel lookouts everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
Did they know, do a lot of them know who you are?
I would hope not. I mean, because I report in English, I feel like that I have a little bit of, what's the word? Like
Anonymity?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know though, because you've broken some serious stories. You know, you've been on Sean Ryan's show. Like, I don't know if I would
do know
assume
that I am tracked in Mexico.
by them.
God knows who.
What do you mean tracked?
A lot of people know where I'm at, know what flights I'm taking. But I don't know if like down to the very bottom of like a cartel lookout who's really not making that much money and is like on their motorcycle, just the person who's like alerting if, there's some sort of military action or whatever. I don't think those guys recognize me. And they saw me because like I was driving through and I'm going up the windy roads to like cartel strongholds to see what it's like. And they're like looking at you in the car.
Like, she's back.
No, I just pretty girl. Like, that's it. Like, what is she doing here, Okay. I think if I did stuff in Spanish and like more frequently, then it would be a problem. But I'm always like with like American outlets and stuff.
I just thought of something.
What?
From a couple minutes ago. I don't know why I just thought of this with what you were saying. So just to go back for a minute, you said there's 3 options. It's either he's dead and it just didn't go down as they said.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead, but he was really dying and it was just a deal made with the government, or he faked his death.
Mm-hmm.
What about the 4th door? What if it was a quiet overthrow? You mentioned that in the literally Excel spreadsheets, you could see the Sicarios are basically paid in like fucking, you know, they're being given like a box of Trojans. That's it. You know? So what if enough people quietly got together and said, you know, one of the 3 guys we were talking about, we'll get behind you. Let's fucking give this guy up quietly to the government and act like we didn't, by the way.
I don't know. And it would have had to have the agreement with the Valencia family, Los Cuinis.
It would have had to have that?
Yeah, it would have had to have that. But, I mean, you never know. Maybe because what we're told is that he was tracked through this woman that he was seeing.
Yeah, was she actually like an OnlyFans model or something?
No, oh my God.
That was like fake news, right?
Dude, that was stressing me out because
all the images were AI.
But people were fully going viral for posting random Mexican OnlyFans girls, and they were like going on live crying, being like, I don't know him, like I wasn't fucking him. And dude, they were putting targets on those girls' backs.
Crazy.
Like that was very dangerous. And I was talking with someone about that, and they're like, well, who cares? And I was like, well, how could you not? What if someone did that to me?
Oh, it's nuts.
What if someone was like, oh, well, actually KATARINA Szulc was going in? That would...
Yeah.
Oh my God, absolutely not.
It's crazy.
So, no, it wasn't. From what we can tell, it was actually a very age-appropriate woman who was seeing him, and she came from a very rich family. I mean, Mencho clearly had something where he could just date really rich women.
But that's based on the story they're telling us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we tracked him here or there.
And that's coming from the U.S. side on the intelligence op.
Wait, explain that.
Because the U.S. gathered all of the intelligence and handed it to Mexico on a silver platter and said, all right, now go get them.
Yeah, that's something. I agree with you. Something's, even without talking about the scene itself, which we know something's off there. Something's really off there.
I'm always like, when I go into these things, like I'm a very critical person. You know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's why I'm a journalist. Ask all the questions, what doesn't add up, whatever. And I try to be really logical and rational about these things and not to get, you know, in over my head.
Yes.
And you've noticed that because even when I talk on your podcast, like sometimes if I do say something that may sound crazy to some people, it typically ends up being right because I do try to rationalize. With this, you know, I was trying to do that, whatever. And I went in honestly under the impression that, yeah, the operation happened and he was killed. But I still had these questions in the back of my mind. And we weren't getting any answers. And I thought it was weird that we never saw the body. I thought it was weird that there was no infighting. And then I got there and I'm like, something doesn't add up, like at all. It is so weird. And the first person I fucking talked to when I got to Tapalpa was like, yeah, we all were kind of freaking out. Something was weird because on Saturday of all the the 2 planes flying above.
Yeah. It's also, and this is where, because I do all different types of content in here, right? And I'm always looking at all these different places, whereas like you right now are very focused on that area of the world and cartels and stuff, and you're doing your job covering what is a major story.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been obsessed with news cycles and how they're used for political purposes.
Dude, and this news cycle has been just demented.
So with these Epstein file things that happened, the latest drop is the one that happened on January 30th. And that was the fucking boogeyman one that people will not let go, righteously so, because it's some of the worst shit I've ever seen. And this is such a problem for the whole government. Huge problem, huge distraction. They're freaking out about it. And in a span of 3 days, we saw the reports coming out, including on this podcast from John Kiriakou, straight from the White House, which he turned out to be right about. He's about 3 days ahead. But we saw reports coming out that they're going to start the war with Iran, which is not our war. We saw the night before that Thursday, the 19th, Trump come out and announce that he wants the Pentagon to redact the UFO files. They're literally giving us fucking aliens, like, to try to get our mind off this stuff. And then we see El Mencho taken out on Sunday with U.S. intelligence. And I'm like, to me, if that is how it went down, even if it's not how it went down on the actual final, like, boom, boom, boom shooting that happened, it's like they knew where he was forever. And they had that in the back pocket. And they're like, yo, when we really need to change the story. Oh, cartels, look, violence, crazy. Look at the pictures. You know, get people's minds off it to distract from other things. And I cannot help but think this is one small pebble in that fucking skip on the top of the water to just try to get people to watch that instead of look over here and see what's really going wrong.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that a lot of things can happen at once, and yeah.
It's pretty interesting that 3 major things would happen.
I've been
Very
getting a
different
lot
playing
of
fields.
comments like what you're saying right now, but I think that there's just a lot going on. I mean,
It could be.
It also, like, in terms of the Epstein thing, I think it's just enough that they just have been releasing it in small doses, microdosing the public, and everyone kind of just at a certain point gets really desensitized to stuff like that, and it gets brushed under the rug no matter what. I don't even think they need to drop some big thing in order for the public to just not really do it.
I would disagree after this last one.
Really?
And again, I'm more in it, but like
You are more in it than me.
this last
Yeah.
one, these documents are some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life, and the volume of righteously so public outrage after this latest drop on January 30th went up by a scale of 20x.
People are gonna hate me for this, but like that's I can't look at that stuff. I saw like bits and pieces, and then there was like one thing that I was like, okay, anytime I see something related to these files, I can't.
What
look.
was that?
It was just really violent and just really bad. That type of stuff really bugs me, and I think I've said this on your podcast before. Like, I would rather be murdered than and like there's so much like and kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I hate to be that person. Like, I've always been like, I'm not ignorant, you know, and even if it's painful, you have to look at it. You have to be informed. But some of it is so vile. Like, I just can't, Julian. Like,
No, I understand. And that also says a lot that you're like, I can't with this. Like, that should say
because I see a lot
to
of bad
people,
shit, and
'cause
like
you see awful shit.
like first person in front of me.
Yeah.
But I
And you're
can't.
making my point for me. Like, this is how visceral that latest one is. And
Yeah.
people, I mean, it's just, I've said this, but it's such a red line for me. Like, I mean, it was a red line already before this, but now that you have some proof, or at least hardcore smoke around the fire at the very least, needing some more evidence to some of the most monstrous shit. There's something about, sorry, I'm choking on water right
I
now.
can see that.
But
But this news
it's
cycle has
horrible.
been crazy. I mean, like, what? January alone felt like I lived like 30 years because I went from fucking Colombia, Venezuela to Ukraine to
Yeah, I
the
wanna talk
northern
about that.
border to Mexico. Like, I was just like a hooker's panties. Like, I was just everywhere. And it was following the news cycle. And then now people are like, are you going to Iran? And I'm like, guys, there's a fucking line, and you know what? I haven't slept.
Yeah.
Like, there's
I
only,
think you can stay away from Iran.
and I don't, yeah, there's,
I don't think you'd do well there.
why? Because I'm a woman?
Also, you're not American, you're Canadian, but you know what I mean. You're coming from this part of the world, and
And they don't
there's
know.
rockets going in there right
In
now.
a lot of the parts of like the world, they don't know the difference between Canadian and
That's right.
American. And so it's impossible basically to identify yourself.
Exactly. But I want to talk about some of the things you've been doing, which is pretty wild. But before we get there, I want to make sure we get through the whole CJNG stuff. So we got our theories on what it could be. There is a power vacuum right now, but based on what we're thinking, it could just be for show. And they
Yeah.
already have someone who's very clearly in charge. Have we seen, since the violence died down between the military and the CJNG factions the day after, have we had major reports of serious violence from within the cartel world?
Yeah, but adversarial cartels, not from within CJNG.
So they're not shooting at each other.
No,
That tells me they've had it figured out.
exactly.
Okay.
And you don't figure that out one night to the next.
No, you don't.
Come on.
Now, did Mencho, is there evidence that Mencho,
He
maybe,
handpicked who was it going to be.
we do know that.
Yeah.
And do we know who he handpicked?
It's El 03, the stepson.
Okay.
And I'm sure that was also upon the recommendation of his ex-wife, Rosalinda.
Right. So no one's gonna fuck with that choice. You got the Mexican Kennedys behind it. You got the guy who founded the whole
That's
thing.
where the
and
money
dead
is.
behind it. That's where the money is. He's been on both sides of the border. Okay.
He's a very strategic choice for sure.
Now, what is the deal with the Chapitos and CJNG? God damn it!
You
I'm
said it
never gonna
right.
get it right.
You did. You
I
said
say it?
CJNG.
All right, whatever. You get the point. What is the deal in the wake of El Mencho between those two?
Oh, that alliance stays alive.
So they're not hitting each other.
Okay, from what I've seen so far over the course of this week, nothing has really changed.
Yeah, it's an inside job.
It just doesn't add up. Like, I know cartels, like this is what I study.
Yeah.
And the fact that the leader is taken out, we should see fucking 3 different guys vying for power.
That's right.
There should be a war in Zacatecas. There should be a war in Veracruz. There should be a war in Sinaloa. Well, there already is, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There should be Michoacan and Jalisco right now, and Colima should just be balls to the wall.
And they're not.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a setup.
But when I was in Colima, there was like the day I got there, there was a narco banner put up, and there's obviously some sort of infighting going on in there between but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have to do with the CJNG. It has.
Where was this?
In Colima, which is the neighboring state with Jalisco. There was a narco banner put up, and they were named all of the politicians who are on the payroll. And that's a tactic of infighting, because one group is funding those politicians, so the other group will name them to call out that group.
Right.
And they use them as it's like a proxy, right?
Yeah, they know that that's not our guys. Leave them out to burn.
Yeah.
I got you.
But it's certainly there isn't anything right now that's indicating, oh my God, CJNG is up in flames. I mean, you remember I came here right after I was reporting in Sinaloa after El Mayo was gone. It was a fucking war zone.
Shit show. Yeah.
I literally got off the airport and we're driving, and it's just bodies and military, just boom, boom. Like at night, no one's going out. There's a curfew. No, kids can't go to school a lot of the days. Every night, I'm being alerted of shootouts and narco blockades, and we're going to cover it. And then in the morning, it's just like bodies upon bodies. That's infighting.
Yes. And we're not seeing any of that right now.
No.
Yeah.
Man, I had one of the best brunches of my life in Tapalpa. I was literally sitting on the patio smoking and eating my freaking chilaquiles, and I felt like I was on vacation. And Guadalajara is fine. Not fine, okay? I don't want to...
I understand.
You know what I mean, though?
Exactly
But considering the context, and I want people to keep that in mind, because some of the listeners are not very critical sometimes, where it's like, when I say, oh, it's all fine and dandy, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, you're in fucking Maui, right. But it just considering the context of the environment, right?
Yes.
You hate when I insult your...
No, I think you're funny,
Thanks.
Unintentionally sometimes, but that's pretty good. So but when you first went down there, when you were first coming on the show back in 265, you had gone down there to cover Sinaloa, and again, you're covering it in the wake of, like you said, El Mayo, having that whole very still, by the way, actually, before I ask this, do we have updates on that?
Yeah, it was set up by the Chapitos. They betrayed him, sold him out to the US. They set him up, he was kidnapped and brought into the US.
Was he CIA?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Is it quite possible, though?
I don't know. You asked me this about every single Kingpin. It's so hard for me to say.
He's such a prime target, though, for that.
But aren't they all?
They are, but he operated so quietly and so simply through all the ups and downs with El Chapo and everything, and was really the dude, and El Chapo's kind of more the public figure, if you will, for so long, and he goes so far back. I
think he went the longest without being captured, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, glad you brought this up. I did read someone's kind of opinion piece about how they think that the Chapitos actually sold out Mencho, because since the alliance, they were privy to more information about him. And because, all the Chapitos essentially are in the US at this point, except for Ivan Archibaldo, who, by the way, crazy that Ivan has outlasted everyone, okay? Outlasted Wedding, outlasted Mencho, outlasted Maduro. Ivan,
crazy.
because Ivan has been like number one target and he's like always just in Sinaloa, and there have been so many failed operations where we almost got him, but there was like this hidden tunnel, and it's like it's literally happened like I think like 3 times now, which is crazy. Yeah, I just think it's crazy, but like what the fuck. But I don't know. But what, CIA? Or is it?
Yeah, with El Mayo. The whole thing with him is very,
you've
very
always
sketchy.
asked me this. I don't know, and I don't want to like make an opinion because I'm not.
Of course, no, I don't want you to do that.
I think
I'm just
people
asking.
actually appreciate that I don't do that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
don't make shit up.
No, I won't. I never do. And if I'm wrong, I admit it.
That's
I was wrong about something this year.
What was that?
I said, I'll make you guys a bet. I don't think Ryan Wedding is ever going to see a cell. That was one thing.
We're gonna come to that story. Hold that thought, because there was. That's another one that's like kind of interesting how that.
I know
down.
all the ins and outs of that story.
Okay, we're gonna get
I'm
that
not
it's
entirely sure what I can say publicly about that.
Okay, we'll go through
but
it
if
slow.
people had known or were able to know what I know, yeah, whatever.
I got you. But like, there's that guy I've told you about before who I got connected to a while ago through a cartel dude who's like definitely still in CIA, but like one of those 50-year guys who made his bones the first 20-some years of his career. He got into CIA as a knock in Mexico, where they embedded him with the cartels, with the Felix Arellano brothers.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Arellano Felix.
Yeah. And so, he's very cagey. He wants to do the podcast, and we've been talking about it for like a year and a half, but he's always going to some fucking third world country to overthrow a government. Like, his company just shows up there. It's like him and like.
But he's willing to do this with his face?
Yeah.
No way. I call bullshit.
He's not in CIA anymore.
I feel like you never
definitely
actually leave
still
the
is.
CIA.
That's what I agree. Unless you're like John Kiriakou and they like throw you in prison, like I don't think you leave. And like, it's just funny because he's got a company. Shout out Brian. He's got a company with like 3 other ex-spooky people from CIA and all these other places. And in the words of Luis Navia, is like, they show up in some third world country and 6 months later, the whole fucking government's overthrown. Who would have thought?
Venezuela.
Right. But no, it wasn't even Venezuela. It's usually like Africa or like countries you never heard of or whatever.
Africa's not a country.
But you know what I mean. I meant the countries in Africa.
Do you know that a lot of your viewers love when I do that to you?
I know they do. But, that guy, I'd really be burning to get him on, because we know CIA has used cartels for their own whatever forever, and it's the ultimate like
Noriega,
deal with the
like
devil.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting. But back to we'll come to Ryan Wedding, because I do want to go through all that. That shit was crazy,
dude.
But with Sinaloa, because that was the initial. You were doing all those stories when you first got down there, and you've mentioned them today because you mentioned the Chapitos alliance with one faction of CJNG and everything. What's outside of that? Like, what's the status of them from a power perspective in Mexico at this point, given that El Mayo and El Chapo are now gone?
Honestly, I don't want to talk about who I think is winning that war, because
Okay.
I got a death threat about that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, let's not do that then.
I know, and because I had talked about it and I was super open about it.
What kinds of people gave you death threats?
Someone within the faction that I said was not doing well.
And so they hit you up personally and said,
it was
up.
real. And I talked about this on a podcast like a few days ago or something. They asked me if, death threats, and I was like, I can identify when it's just like, this empty threat of someone trying to scare me versus when it's something that I actually need to pay attention to. And unfortunately, I know that it impacts hopefully not the integrity of my job, but certainly the content of what I can say. But I'll also it's my life, right?
Yes.
And so there was, I did receive a message, and multiple people actually flagged it to me that there was chatter about this, and that some people were just unhappy that I was saying that basically what I thought was happening within this infighting. So I just rather not give an.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, because
no. And I'm actually happy to hear you talk like that, because in the past I feel like you would have been like, you know what, fuck it. But you gotta. I think when you're doing a job like yours, first of all, there's not many people who do it. Secondly, like the stories you do get are insane. And like,
but that's why, because I've always kind of been fearless about it. But
there's a line.
Well, when the threat literally
Yes.
is like substantial, I mean, yeah, it sucks because I don't want to be scared out of saying the truth, but I just don't even think that this is worth it. I think anyone who's a critical thinker could look at the
bigger picture.
That civil war, let's call it, and could form their own opinion. So yeah, but I don't really just want to talk about that exactly.
Yeah, no, we won't. And,
especially if I
that's
have to go back to Sinaloa at some point. Like,
that's what I'm saying. You have to make like, and there could be people out there who are just, they want to complain about anything, and there's always going to be people like that. But you have to make like trade-off decisions sometimes where it's like, all right, I want to do 100%, right? I want to get every fucking thing. I want to be able to say whatever I want. If I do that, I'm dead. So would I rather be able to do 80% of what I want and continue to do the job and do it extremely effectively and for many years and actually help save lives and maybe change the trajectory of stuff and shut up about the other 20% so that I can do that and live? Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, but it was hard for me to accept that. You know that.
I understand.
Because you know me. So it was like but it got to a point where I was like, yeah, that was the kind of the pay, like I had to accept that essentially.
And it is the right decision. So we'll stay off that. That's no problem.
Because like,
but
if
there's still
I'm
chaos
dead,
basically, right? Like,
oh yeah,
it's
still ongoing constantly. And I'm constantly being shown videos of someone in the Maisa faction or someone in the Chapitos faction being murdered, or like the literal fucking gunfights within like the forest regions.
How much of it is dragging on to civilians?
I think right now, I mean, no, it comes to a head every now and then where there's like a really public shootout and you have like kids that just got out of school running for their lives, like taking shelter in some woman's home, and you know, it happens. But because also everyone's desensitized and because this has been going on for a while now, it doesn't, you know, make the headlines as much. It certainly doesn't make the headlines in here. I mean, in Mexico, I see it all the time, but everyone's very desensitized.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, the desensitization of all that population is at an extreme.
I mean, I get it though. They've been living with it for decades.
So long. It's generational.
What runs their country. Yeah, we had Carolina here, and her family's still there.
Yeah.
And that was last June when you were here, and it's like, you know, we just take for granted how many of us, obviously we have some gang violence problems in this country, and there's some places where people do live with some things like that. You go outside, you got to duck from bullets, and that's horrible. But at the scale that it is in Mexico.
Because in Mexico, it's a fucking like narco.
It's everywhere.
Government and economy.
Yep.
So how do you even separate that?
You don't. Is there,
Don't ask me for a solution right now.
No,
Okay,
not a solution.
It's like my least favorite question, because you think if I had the answer, like,
we'd be talking? No.
No.
You'd be meeting with more important people. But like, have you seen any slight improvement at all in the corruption department?
No.
Yeah. It's still
absolutely not.
Every bit as bad as it was.
Yeah, probably, if not even like worse now with this weird fucking conspiracy I have about El Mencho.
I don't think it's a weird conspiracy at all. You found a staged scene.
You know what? When I was there, so on the first day I went to the cabins, I went in like, oh my God, okay, we're going to be here. We're going to get this coverage and I'm going to show people what this is like. And at one point, I think my cameraman got it on camera. I was like pissed because when I saw like the shell casings and like just the way the scene looked, there's definitely like one scene of me where I'm just like, let's leave. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is such bullshit. And I started getting mad, like the way sometimes you get mad on your podcast. Like, I kind of crashed out. And my cameraman, like at the team I was with, they were like, it's okay. We think the same thing. And then I spoke with some reporters that were also there who are with like a legacy media outlet. And I was like, do you guys think I'm crazy? And they were like, no, we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm shocked they let you guys in there.
There was no one to let us in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you just walk right up and you're able to go in. I'm shocked that, given that it's so clearly staged, they didn't just create a perimeter and make some excuse and, I don't know, fucking bulldoze the place.
Dude, one of the windows in one of the houses,
At least shoot it out.
I know, in one of the houses, the one that I think was like vacant, there's like sliding windows. Okay, and so in this house, do you know that, like, I don't know how to explain this properly. So like in sliding windows or sliding window doors, you ever seen people who will like cut a piece of wood or like a piece of tube to put it in that space where it slides so that if someone tries to break in? Yeah. So this house had that. And on the inside is like the glass sliding doors, and on the outside is like a bug net, right? Well, in this house, there is like, the window is broken. Like a piece of the window on the sliding door is broken and the glass is inside the house. And like the rupture pushes inside. But the net on the other side of the door is completely intact. And then there's like one like bullet, but it's not like a bullet that was shot on the floor. It's like it fell out of the clip. I have a picture.
Yeah. Can you show me that?
Sorry.
I mean, this is just like put a little more effort in it, guys.
Bro, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do a cover up, like a good cover up creates evidence. They couldn't even take the time. Like, blow out a few windows with some bullets. How hard is it? No one's gonna know.
Put a body in there.
Yeah.
Go find the
Yeah,
Okay.
get Epstein's fake body, put it in there.
Here you go. This is great. And then you can slide. Okay, so you can't see the net in that photo, but there's a net on the other side, and you see the glasses like inside. Then you see the bullet that fell out of the clip on the floor.
Oh, yeah. And it's like aimed perfectly facing outside too.
Okay, but I'm not taking that. Just the aim, don't take that into consideration because so many people have been in this houses and stuff.
So they could have moved it.
Yeah, so like at one point, one of the guys I was with was like, look at that shell. It's on like this rubber mat and it didn't melt it. I'm like, okay, guys, like let's not be stupid here because shit's like been moving around. There's been so many people in here.
And this is where the glass is broken. That's a close up of it. I'll put that up, Dave. Can you see it in focus? So that's where it's broken
there's a
on the
net.
side of the wood.
No.
Where the wood would have gone to block
No,
it.
the wood is on the ground.
I know, but where the wood would have gone. Like, see how the wood is right there? And that's where it's broken on that side?
No, the wood isn't from that. I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
There's a tube
Yes.
in there. That wood is from a broken door over here.
Oh, so that's not even the thing you're talking about.
And you can see
Okay.
this piece of glass is actually facing me. Like it looks
Yeah.
like it got broken from the outside. Oh, when I zoom in, you can see there's net here, and the net is in perfect. I'm not even talking in the mic. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
The net is
can
in
hear.
perfect condition. So it looks like it was broken from the outside, but I don't know. Like, but I'm also not a fucking CIA investigator. CSI, I mean.
Right. That's a little Freudian slip right there.
Because we're talking about it.
Uh-huh.
Don't try to fucking
Look,
push some bullshit narrative.
They got a zebra on the wall.
Oh, there was a lot of
A fucking zebra,
hunting.
a taxiderm zebra. That's wild. You couldn't take that with you as a souvenir?
So you want to know what's crazy? You know how many DMs I got of people telling me they'd pay me like X amount of money to bring them like shell casings and stuff like that?
Probably.
It would have been so profitable. But
now, what am I
that's not my
looking
job.
at? What am I looking at here?
A Jesus statue with the window broken in the
But
back.
what's in the background? Like a Trojan horse statue?
Yeah.
Is that a hillside behind there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, there's more houses behind the Trojan statue.
Yeah. What is
don't
this?
slide too
What
much. I don't know
what
what's in
is
there.
the syringe?
Medication.
Oh, it's for insulin. I see that. Okay. Pictures of Jesus and Mary. They were very
And then-
holy people.
Did I tell you about the watermelon?
No.
Okay, so I'll show it to you.
I love watermelon.
Okay, so, this is like a great map of like, that's what I want to show you.
Oh, can we see that? Let's hold that
So the
up,
green
actually.
area are the cabins.
All right, green area right there. We got it, Dave?
The green areas, the
Is
green
it in
area,
focus now?
tell me when.
There we go.
We got
The
it.
green area is the cabins. The red area is the forest area in front where the military apparently came through. The pink area is that road, the side road that leads up from the highway. And then the blue area is the country club. Blue area is country club.
Well, that's a big ass fucking country club.
Top left is where the part where he was at, where he apparently tried to get tooth from the forest.
Was he a golfer? Like, was he just like out there, like, you know, run the cartel business?
I don't actually know if there
course?
was like golf there. I couldn't get in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing holes and sand traps.
So,
why do they call it a country club?
Because it's a country club.
Yeah, but usually, like, I usually hear like golfers. They're
in Mexico.
Like,
there's country clubs and like people go swimming there and eat there, and it's for like a lot of rich people to like have an escape from like the shitty town that they live in.
So it doesn't have to have a golf course.
One of my friends in a state, it kind of has that.
Okay.
Right, cool. I wanted to show you the watermelon.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Okay, so they said that like they went in and like all these guys were living there, and that obviously there was like this huge conflict, and so everyone kind of stopped what they were doing, and there was like food and everything left out. And this, I mean, I would assume obviously watermelon was cut like right like before the like it was obviously not that long before this whole thing went okay.
They brought the catering in first. I
Bro,
got it.
Like this watermelon is over a week old outside.
Oh yeah, it's
but
molded.
this is 2 days after the operation. So what, did these guys just leave the watermelon out there for 2 weeks? No way. Or no one was there.
Or no
they abandoned it a long time ago.
Yeah. No, that's molded as fuck.
Yeah,
white.
I asked ChatGPT what that molding looks like, and my chemist friend, and she's like, "That's over 10 days old."
Yeah. No, I can actually, because I've left a watermelon in the back of the fridge. Like in a fridge that's like 34 or 35 degrees or something like that before by accident, and it doesn't look this bad.
And also
after weeks.
Those cabins, they're built to be really cool. So even though like outside it was really warm when you're in the sun, in those cabins, it's very cool. What are you looking at?
Is that the Wi-Fi?
I think that's a phone number. But
in 2 digits at a time?
Yeah.
Cabana numero ocho.
I think it's for the administration for those.
Oh, it could be like an
rentals.
extension. And then you took a picture of like barcode up there.
Oh, because I wanted to know if the Jeep was stolen, which it was from the States.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Who are the guys on the horses? Is that the cartel lookouts?
No. Those were just guys that I thought looked cool on the donkeys. I don't even think those are horses, Julian.
Right.
They look like mules.
Wait, I can't. It was far away. Yeah, they're not horses. They are mules. You're right. They're small. Poor mule, man. That guy's like 220.
Okay, you need to stop sliding there because I don't know what the fuck is in there.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right.
And
so the whole point is it's sketchy. Period.
Very sketchy. And then at one point, this one was interesting to me. So like out front, there was like a little barbecue, and it was like obviously filled with ash. And so, dude, I'm like, what was in here? Because this was also right at the borderline between the parking lot and the forest where apparently the operatives came up. So I just like literally started digging through the ash. Like when I got there, I was just like, I want to see everything, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why I have pictures of that fucking router even. And look what I found in the ash in that barbecue.
In the ash.
That little photo. And then slide again and there's another one.
Is this cartel guys girls?
That's what I thought, but then someone else told me, I bet you if you put those pictures into a missing person.
They're missing. Oh my God.
But I don't know. I'm in the process of trying to figure that out. And don't show those pictures.
I won't.
And I'm not going to.
I wasn't going to.
So it's 2 women, just so you guys know. It's like, they look like passport photos.
It's like yeah.
Little passport photos.
They're not like, let me describe it right. They look like square cutouts of what would be a
but it's a selfie.
But it's a selfie shot that you would see on Instagram.
Or like a Facebook profile.
Picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like,
whoa, that's fucking, that's gonna chill up my spine.
But why would those photos just like, I don't know.
Because they were targets for something.
I'm driving myself crazy with this.
That's nuts.
Because I thought, oh, maybe, you know what? Whoever these cartel lookouts were, tried to like ditch some stuff that could like identify them. But it was in the ash in the barbecue, but like these photos aren't burnt.
That's really weird.
And then also, I was like, maybe they're like the girlfriends of them, but then I was like, or maybe these were like targets, you know, like human trafficking or girls that they would bring to the compound to. And we know that about CJNG is like at their, like at the Rancho Izaguirre, you know, that extermination camp, 50, 60 kilometers. We talked about that. Yep. That, you know, they were bringing a lot of girls there for sex services. And so those could be those girls. So I have to figure out how to do it in like an ethical way. But try to, you know, get in touch with those collective groups of people who search for missing people in Mexico and see if maybe those girls are them. I had someone try to like find who they were, like social media pages, and we couldn't find anything. Yeah.
I wonder also as well, because it's the same
and it's also important to keep in mind
that was running the kidnapping pregnant women too. Yeah,
but also important to keep in mind that at this place, like there was I found a ton of bottles of lube and Viagra. So if it was like just men there, I mean, unless they were gay, but there's the photos of women
kidnapping women, bringing them back. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And like
go ahead.
You look at the pictures of those girls, like they're not from like high socioeconomic backgrounds.
No,
you know, it's like a looks like could be a victim of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we have, by the way, I forgot to ask you this earlier, ever since they arrested La Diabla to take down that ring, do we have evidence that things like that with, you know, trafficking babies and stuff is still continuing?
No, it seems like that was like that extortion ring that was operating it.
That's
and
good.
A few other young women, like even some minors, have been arrested for also working with her. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they were the ones responsible for a lot of like the
so
luring.
They would lure them. Oh, that's horrible. Death penalty. That's horrible. Yeah. What about, you know, since Trump came in, obviously the border's tighter. So that was part of the reason they're finding new rackets to make money. How is the border right now as it pertains to like even just CJNG getting in drugs to America? Are they just getting creative with different ways to do it, or is their volume severely impacted?
It's not severely impacted. It's about the same. Numbers spiked again in November, but that's also just, that doesn't really mean anything in my opinion. Like that just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah, like seizure numbers spiked. But I never really trust seizure numbers, and I did like a whole Substack article on this because just because like they caught more or they caught less doesn't mean that the volume that's actually being trafficked is any different. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So to me, like when I look at seizure numbers, like I rarely report on it because I just don't think that it has any really like substantial ground to say like, oh my God, they're trafficking so much more, just because, you know, maybe for that month a bunch of more operations were deployed by BP or something like that.
And also you could look at it the other way if you wanted to, but I think it has the same problem as what you just pointed out in this direction. And that is, it's like, oh, well, that means they're getting more of it and they're catching more of it. But it's also like you said, what's the real volume that they're even going after each month and what's getting through that they don't know about? Valid. All right, real quick. Now I got to go to the bathroom, but let's come back and talk Ryan Wedding because that shit was crazy.
I know.
Right back. All right, we're back. So since you and I last talked, Ryan Wedding, as you alluded to earlier, was caught. As I'm going to have you do a review of just like who he is for some people who may be unfamiliar or need to be refamiliarized with it. But you did say that you didn't think he would get caught.
I didn't.
But he apparently there was a lot of like misinfo around it. Like, did he surrender himself or was he actually caught? How it went down? What the agreement was? So let's start with who he was and then what happened here.
So Ryan Wedding was a Canadian Olympic athlete who then became a bouncer. He's actually from the same city as me. He's from Thunder Bay, Ontario, but then grew up just outside of Vancouver.
Apple don't fall too far from the tree.
And he comes from fuck off.
Hey, you're covering it. He's doing it.
He's
Yin
doing
and the
it.
yang.
I know. We honestly aren't that different.
That's right. You're gonna go around that corner.
And he's from actually a really prominent family in Canada. They had a ski resort. His dad is an engineer. And then they moved to BC, to Coquitlam, which is like a suburb right outside of Vancouver, which is where he went to school. He was in like gifted programs, super smart kid growing up, obviously skied really well because he went to the Olympics. He went to Salt Lake, I think 2002.
That's right.
Don't think he placed. And then ended up working as a bouncer at a nightclub in Vancouver where he made a lot of contacts with Hells Angels, criminals. You know how that goes. It's like textbook.
No, that is textbook.
Starts trafficking, goes to Southern California for like kind of one of the bigger drops of the beginning of his career, gets caught, goes to jail or, you know, drug trafficker university.
That's right.
Makes amazing connections, gets connected with the Colombians, the Americans. This is also the time when marijuana is still illegal, and British Columbia, where he was living, has some of the best marijuana in the world, BC Bud. So he makes all the contacts, starts doing this trafficking. Fast forward. I mean, I could go on and on, right? So then he goes to Mexico, aligns himself very well with the Chapitos.
Like the late 2000s kind of deal at this point? Okay.
Aligns himself really well with the Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel.
Now, why did they bring him into the inner sanctum, this gringo from Canada? Obviously, like you said, he has access to, you know, BC Bud, but they got a lot of Bud.
See, I have a lot to say about this because obviously I had been like studying wedding very thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, okay, for the cultural aspect and the trust, actually, let's start with his intellect. He was very smart. I think that he was very good at making contacts with the Chinese, Colombians, and Mexicans, and then the Hells Angels. And so he was able to really prove that he could up profit. Trafficking under the radar, moving a lot of product, basically the textbook way to move up the ranks in the drug trafficking world. Aside from that, I think in a sense, like he was kind of like me in a way where he knew how to just assimilate into the culture. He got along with these people. He knew how to chat with them. He married a Mexican woman. They had kids together. He was also very violent and had a really big ego, which can take you a long way, obviously, in this world. And he knew how to take people out that he was worried about. And so the Chapitos really trusted him because he made a lot of money. He had or has a very high IQ. And this is someone that they knew could connect them with the right people and keep operations running and make it even more lucrative than they already had. He was a good nexus for North America.
Right. At what point did he start becoming like a
top dog?
Not even just that. There's like 40 or 50 murders that are allegedly attributed to him, and that's
I
just
think
what
it's a
we
lot
know of.
more. Yeah,
right. At what point did he cross that Rubicon and start becoming a dude ordering people's heads off?
I think pretty early on. Yeah, I think it was pretty early on in his career where he wanted people to know not to cross him, not to fuck with him. And I think that it got to a point where even the Chinese were scared of him, and the Chinese do business very differently than the Mexicans. They're very low key and they're very money oriented and ideological oriented. Oriented.
Ideologically.
And so I think when he put out a hit on a Chinese person was when there was some sort of, realization that, okay, he is not to be crossed.
Who was the Chinese guy that he put a hit on? Oh, we're not saying?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it someone?
It's someone that I got from a source.
Got it.
That's, in that same world.
Mm-hmm.
That I cannot
okay.
dime out.
All right. Did the guy die? Did he put the hit on him and the guy died?
Yeah, he was murdered.
Right. So the hit happened.
Mm-hmm.
Was it someone, I don't know if you can say this, if you can't, no problem. Is it someone directly
who had a lot of money?
Connected? Like Chinese government?
I don't
connected?
know. That I actually don't know.
Okay.
But there was supposed to be some business that was done and it just didn't work out.
Right.
Anyways, Wedding, he has his family, but he also has a lot of nexus in Colombia. He starts working with this one woman who's basically a madame who helps him run business and take out hits. He starts dating this girl, Daniela. She was, I think, actually working for the madame as a prostitute. They get together. He almost uses Daniela like as a honeypot in a lot of circumstances to, be friends with so-and-so's girlfriend so that we can get close to them and see where they really stand or take out a hit on them. Daniela has really bad OPSEC. I mean, a Colombian BBL baddie probably isn't going to have great OPSEC, okay? No hate, but honestly, just
No, it's a fair point.
yeah. So
She looked good, though.
she did. She's a baddie.
They got a
Probably
lot
gonna-
of those in Colombia.
baddie behind bars.
Yeah.
That
Waste of talent.
that'd be a great series. If anyone wants to pick that up, I can
Baddie
spearhead
behind
it.
bars. Actually, I might watch that.
I think a lot of people.
Sounds pretty good. Deef, let's work on it.
Hey, that's my idea.
BBL, baddie. behind-
Baddies behind larceny.
Yeah, something. We'll come up with it. Yeah.
That's my idea, fuckers.
Listen, you just said it on the Julian Dorey podcast, so we now own the IP. But please continue.
For the love of God. Whatever. Anyways, so Ryan Wedding becomes a big target for the United States. And to my knowledge, the United States had actually been tracking him for a while and knew where he was. But for the Mexicans, he wasn't a top priority. And there needed to be, obviously, cooperation in order for them to get him.
Why did the Mexicans not have a top priority on a gringo who had come across the border of their place?
I don't know.
I would think that would be their guy to be like, oh, easy.
Great
He's not
fall
even
guy,
from
right?
here. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, but I think that also Ryan had a lot of really powerful people on his payroll.
Mm.
And so that kind of kept the attention off of him, or people were like wary of going after him. And he was known to be very violent. Now, here's the thing. His last residence was literally in a very high-end gated community in Mexico City.
Out in the open, effectively.
Yeah. And that's one thing we know about Wedding. He had a very big ego. I'd also like to clarify that whole Instagram page that came out about him.
Oh, it's AI. It's not real.
And everyone was
I
like,
fell for that.
the Mexican president fell for it.
She did?
Bro,
No, she didn't.
in her morning press conference, she said, of course he gave himself up. He posted a picture of himself in front of the embassy.
No.
And then tried to blame it on Meta for not putting an AI sticker on it.
God. That was so obviously AI.
Bro.
It was like, hello, my name is Ryan John Wedding. I mean, I could see them writing it in Pakistan. It was,
Yeah. Oh my God, it
Oh,
was
that's
so
horrible.
brutal.
Yeah.
And then I got a ton of hate because I was like, if any of you believe that this is real, I mean, the one photo he was wearing like a hublot and it's upside down. And I'm like, my guy Wedding would never be caught dead in a hublot. He's a Rolex guy. People were like, shut up.
And they do put out a fucking hilarious tweet about that. I forget what he said.
Him
He's
and I
like-
were going back and forth that
Yeah,
whole
It
time.
was like, he said, I have something to sell you, but it was funny as fuck. He's like, if you think this is real, I wish I had it, but I can't remember it.
He's so funny and he gets so much shit.
Oh, it's awesome.
And when him and I collaborate, people are like, why would you have him on?
He's hilarious.
He's so funny. Like,
One
how
of
can
the
I not?
funniest and the nicest guy ever. I love Jeff.
He's super nice. Yeah.
Great dude. He knows, and really, no one's perfect with stuff. He covers a lot of different things.
But he's
in
not an
crime.
idiot.
But Jeff knows his way around a lot of shit, man. For sure.
I
I'm
agree.
impressed with his cartel knowledge on stuff. But anyway, you were saying, so he becomes, at some point there in the 2010s, he's like a top-ish dog kind of deal. And he got on to the FBI 10 Most Wanted in the last few years, right?
Yeah, and I had been talking about it, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
nobody knows this guy. And I'm
No.
like, well, you're about to.
They do now.
And now they do. And everyone was like flipping out about it. And I was like, I fucking told you guys.
yeah.
Sorry, not me. That's my age showing. I told you.
Right. Now, does Patel pay you in cash or a check in the mail?
It's like a Mossad transferred through his girlfriend.
Oh.
What is that? Why was that like the worst thing I've
No,
said?
it's funny. We might get sued now. It was a joke.
Oh, because
people.
she does sue people
It was a
for
joke.
that.
It was a joke. She would never be involved in such endeavors.
But she is.
Damn it, Kat!
Double down.
I'm trying to
Look,
trying to help you out.
I'm also a girl who likes medium ugly guys, but sister,
Okay,
let's be for
that's a bridge too far. Just saying. One eye's going one way, the other guy's going another. That's all I'm saying.
I can't believe that was the most out of pocket thing that you thought I said. But she actually does take legal action, huh?
She does.
She
Who'd
does.
she sue?
I think CB. No, she sued a
Did she sue
podcaster.
Candace Owens? Was that it?
No,
Who's the guy? One of
France sued Candace Owens.
who'd she sue? Specifically Kyle Seraphin. I don't know who that is. Elijah Schaefer. I don't think I know who that is either.
And Samuel
And
Parker.
Samuel Parker. I thought that was a meme account. Samuel Parker. Isn't that like the fat meme?
No,
guy?
he's a former Utah Senate Republican Party primary
I'm
candidate.
thinking of someone different. Okay.
Podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're just making jokes here.
Bro,
That's
if
what
I
we do.
sued
It's a comedy
everyone
podcast.
for who came at me saying some
Yeah,
shit
that's
like
lame.
this,
That you can't. That's
grow
really-
a backbone. Get a hobby.
Yeah.
Okay? Like literally less embarrassing if you download Candy Crush and play it for 4 hours a
Yeah.
day. Come
Yeah.
on. If I was her, I would have leaned into it. But then you can't.
That one you might not be able to lean into, but like just let it go.
Like who
It's
cares?
not a big deal.
It's so much.
But you're not marrying the guy for love.
And also, like, you know, oh my God, see? You're on the same page with me.
I mean,
Come on.
look at him.
And like, listen to him. Fuck, bro.
The videos of him with the hockey team.
Dude, him doing that presser after Ryan Wedding being like, yeah, we got him. And you can't even hear him because he decided to do it on tarmac. I'm like, just shut up. Oh my God. And the way he tried to make it seem like he caught him red-handed.
He's got to be in front of every camera anytime they do something.
Bro,
Like, it's about
everyone
him.
in the FBI must have been like, shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and like the FBI was so broken, to be very clear, when he got in there. There were so many problems in there. It's not to say every agent's bad or anything, but there were so many rogue cells in there. But like, you know, fuck, with him running it, I get it. If there's people who've been there a long time, even if I don't fucking like them, who are like, come on, man. Like, it's just
He's
we're
insufferable.
watching incompetency in public at every turn. So with this one, like you said, he comes out. Wasn't he like on the plane with him or something, like coming down with
They
him?
literally rode the plane back together.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee you he was like, bro, like, I know you're a criminal, but like, mad respects, bro. Bro, like that fucking Daytona. Oh my God. My authorized dealer just like put me on a wait list.
Can we get a selfie?
100% he did. 100%.
Oh my God.
You think he didn't take a fucking selfie with Wedding?
Oh, I'll see you in Valhalla, brother. Oh
Bro.
my God. Oh, that's so good.
Bro, your fucking
I'm going to
Montclair
miss
jacket.
him when he's gone because it is a lot of fun to make fun of him. That part I'm going to miss.
It's entertainment.
He's not even a moving target. He's just still. But you don't know where to aim because this eye's looking at the fractals and that one's, you know. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. It gets you all disoriented and shit. Like when they put you in those like fake drunk goggles, you're like, where is he?
Yeah, I
You know?
almost feel like they probably just captured him so Kash could have a little like shindig with him.
That's right. So what happened though? Like what do we know and what are we unsure of that
so
led up to this?
I'm actually sure about exactly what
All right,
happened.
well, let's put it on the record, KATARINA Szulc.
So he was basically strong-armed by the U.S. government into surrendering himself.
And how did they do that?
There was something close, like personal to him that they used against him. I can't say it. And he said okay and gave himself up.
Did he have any kind of agreement with them for certain punishments that would be off
I
the
don't
table?
know, but I'm under the impression that yes.
So maybe he's like, all right, I can do 20 years. I'll tell you what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so some people were saying like, oh, the Chapitos betrayed him, gave him up. That did not happen. People were saying, oh no, he didn't surrender himself. They actually went in and grabbed him. But no, it was, he did surrender. And obviously like Kash Patel was in Mexico City when it happened. They tried to say like he was going for something else. When the fuck does Kash Patel ever go to Mexico City? What are you laughing at?
No, it's a good point. I don't know why Kash Patel would be in Mexico
He
City.
vacations in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. You're not letting up.
I can't help it.
I appreciate it.
Oh, because then
good
I do.
stuff.
You don't have to do it, right?
No, we've done it. It's
Okay,
just
good.
funny to hear someone else do it.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I always have to say, like, don't sue me. And it's just a joke, but
You can fucking sue me. I don't give a shit.
I know you don't. They'll
Like,
never
I live in
find
Mexico.
you.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, come get you.
Extract me?
That's right. Oh, I mean, maybe
Be a fucking great story.
maybe that would help your brand.
Yeah, Mossad just distracted me from Mexico, and it was Mossad in the shape of Kash Patel.
In the shape of Kash Patel.
Yeah.
How Hindu of you. Okay. All right.
Is
this
he
good.
even Hindu?
I don't know. This has gone too far.
Okay,
it's
I
nothing
know.
personal, Cash.
Oh my
You're
God.
funny. I'll just never forget him going on Sean Ryan's show and saying, if I were put in charge of the FBI, I would turn the J. Edgar Hoover building into a fucking museum day one. It's like, no, you won't.
Did he go on Sean before or after me?
Before.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, he went on before he got into the administration and
Because
everything.
when I went on Sean, he makes you sign a wall, and if I had seen Cash's name, I just would have put in brackets like Mossad lover.
Brought the spunk today.
I know.
I appreciate it.
Well, I
appreciate
also
it.
know that, like, especially, I mean, you know, it's mostly this operation, the wedding operation, that where I was like, oh, shut up, Kash. Like, I know a lot of people, especially a lot of girls that I know, were like, fuck Kash after the whole hockey room thing.
Oh, it's that was the cringiest. I don't know if I've ever had at least in the past year, more secondhand embarrassment for a public figure than watching that video. That was like watching the kid whose parents locked him up and made him play like one of his 6 instruments to get into college for 18 years. And then he gets there and he's like, all right, guys, let's go hard. It was, oh my God.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of my girlfriends were like, ew, like, and now I fucking hate him. And I'm like,
It took
Ladies-
that?
ladies.
Where you been?
hey, you ever heard of a guy named Ryan Wedding?
Yeah.
You see him walk off the plane with Kash and that FBI agent next to him? Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Ryan did surrender. And
That caught everyone off guard though, obviously.
yeah. I thought they were gonna kill him. Yeah. I didn't think that they were gonna arrest him. I thought they were gonna kill him. And I actually have reason to believe that
Yeah,
was...
but if he shows up to surrender outside of a police station, they can't just blow him away.
No, they weren't going to do it like that. If he surrendered, they were going to get him. But I thought that they were going to just...
Throw him out of the plane on the way to America.
No, I thought that maybe, you know, hypothetically, he would be maybe... No, you know what? I'm not going to say it.
Okay. You'll blue balls us. That's all right.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't.
I understand.
Especially because with the wedding stuff, I've had so many like sources that I've been talking to that are just like super close to it.
Right.
That I just don't want to lose any of that.
Where is he right now?
In California.
Do we have like a upcoming court date where we're going to...
Should be.
Yeah, let's pull that up.
Yeah.
And it's federal court, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's no cameras in there?
No.
I fucking hate that.
Me too.
They gotta change that. That's crazy.
That's court in Canada too.
He first appeared in the United States federal court on Monday, January 26, 2026, and pleaded not guilty to the charges against him.
March
Letting him appear
24th.
in court again on February 11th, and his trial is scheduled. Whoa, that's a fast trial. Trial's beginning March 24th?
Yeah.
They just arrested him. This is like an international criminal drug conspiracy, and the trial started. That's a speedy trial, baby. That took the words out of my mouth, Dave. Very constitutional. Nothing's happening there that's weird.
Epstein's been like 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like Diddy got all kinds of shit because he was moving up his trial and pushing it for it to happen early, and it happened 10 months after he was arrested, and that
Yeah.
was all here.
This was right away. Yeah.
What are we missing, KATARINA Szulc?
I don't know. I'm curious to see if he's going to dime people out. I know that he was pissed off that his ex right-hand man, Andrew Clark, who's also in jail, dimed him out, like gave a lot of information on him. He sang like a canary. I don't know if he will. His lawyer Colombo said that he's not talking. But I
His
think
lawyer's not actually named Colombo.
it is. And he's a very famous lawyer.
Come on.
He's like a mob boss lawyer.
Really?
Jeff knows him.
With a name like Colombo. Of course Jeff knows him. With a name like Colombo. Come on.
It's literally Peter Falk.
Yeah, what's Ryan Wedding's lawyer's name? Anthony Colombo, whose grandfather, Joe Colombo, was a wow.
Yeah.
You can't make that shit up. This is Joe Colombo's grandson representing him in court. Your Honor, my guy is fucking innocent, okay? He never did a goddamn thing. Nothing. And he's not saying shit to the prosecutors. Oh my God, that's awesome. I thought that was a joke.
No.
Yeah, that's him. Oh shit. Okay, so we're monitoring the situation.
That's all we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been any...
But I did want to clarify like his capture because like everyone, so many people are like, no, he did not surrender. He did.
He did.
He did.
But the pictures were fake, obviously.
Yeah, that Instagram's so fake.
What has been on the ground with his business operations? Have we seen any reverberations from that?
I don't know, but a lot of people around him have been caught, right? He had this lawyer in Canada who was basically sending him voice recordings of meetings with his adversaries this Canadian lawyer was advising Ryan Wedding on who to take out. And he's been arrested. He was extradited to the US, actually.
Can we pull that up? The lawyer was fucking diming out people to get hit?
He was recording, meeting with Ryan's adversaries, and then sending Ryan the recordings, be like, yeah, you got to kill this guy.
Yo, that's a Canadian Saul Goodman right there.
Oh, yeah. No, literally.
We need that show.
Yeah, I know.
He's got like fucking corny-ass commercials, gets off from the camera, calls him up, be like, yo, whack that guy.
No, literally, that's what was happening. I think he was already extradited to the US.
Sometimes real life is just even better than the movies.
No, it really is. I say that all the time.
You can't even make this shit up.
Reality is way more shocking than fiction.
Sheriff
no,
Department-
wrong.
No, well, that's definitely not.
Definitely.
That's his girl.
That's his girl. Business ain't a booming then, pal. I mean, come on. She's a corpse. Oh my God. Whoa. Whoa. Listen, that's me, not you. Don't worry about it. I'll take the heat for
No,
that.
it's just so funny that
Deepak Paradikar? Come on.
Why'd you say it? What is so funny about that?
That's not what I was expecting. Cocaine
Yeah, he's an
lawyer.
Indian guy.
Deepak. Somewhere Tyler Oliveira's going, look, see? Told you. All right, Deepak Paradikar, a Brampton-based lawyer, often referred to as the cocaine lawyer. We have our show name. Let's work on the script, Deef. Was arrested in November 2025 for his alleged role in a drug trafficking and murder conspiracy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Led by former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding. We take murder very seriously here, though, in all seriousness, people. It's very bad that
he was advising murder.
The U.S. Department of the Treasury and Department of Justice accused Paradikar of violating legal ethics by allowing Wedding and his associates to eavesdrop on privileged communication and assisting in a plot to kill a federal witness. Whoa, that's
and they did kill
dark.
him.
That's dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Paradikar is alleged to have advised Wedding to murder a federal witness, telling him, quote, if you kill the witness, the case will be dismissed. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually dark as fuck.
And he was, look, he used his Instagram username used to be cocaine_lawyer.
Cocaine lawyer? I'm telling you, Instagram is just not good for some people.
Dude, okay. I know.
Posting. Paradikar had previously been reprimanded by the Law Society of Ontario in 2017 for posting a photo on Instagram with the caption, cocaine lawyer, 2.5 kilos of cocaine charges dropped. Straight word, homie. It's great. Okay, I think I've got a Venice. But despite the severe allegation, no.
It's Canada.
No!
We've talked about this.
Despite the severe allegations that I just read, Parrot car was granted bail in Canada in December 2025 while facing extradition to the United States. You're never going to see
So,
that again.
do you remember the time the first time I came on your podcast and I said the best way to explain the legal justice system is if I tell my girlfriends, and I was joking, but I tell my girlfriends, if your boyfriend cheats on you, just kill him. Like, you're not going to do any time. Like, you'll be fine, right? This is a perfect example of that. Like, you can commit any crime in Canada and get away with it.
That's fucking...
Which is why the U.S. wants him extradited, because in Canada, he's a free man. When I was in Ukraine,
I was just
everyone was like, obviously it was Soviet Union, right? And I'm Polish, so like we have like the fucking red sphere. And everyone in Ukraine was like, oh, Canada, socialist country, fuck.
In Ukraine?
Yes.
They're
They're like scared. Yeah.
of Canada.
Yeah.
It's a lot more pressing things to be scared
I
of
was
there.
like, yeah, they're like, oh shit.
That's a serious... I mean, they got like... They're all like fucking
They're all like
carrying
so
guns.
concerned. And they're like, you soon communism. Like you have lots of Chinese there. Scary. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
I mean, they're not.
I mean, they have a point.
They're
but
not wrong.
They're not wrong.
Like at all.
But still, the fact that they're that worried about something halfway
And
around
they have
the world.
fucking Russians just obliterating them. I know.
All right. So what was the story you did in Ukraine, and what'd you see?
Oh, Colombian mercenaries that are going there to fight are being recruited by the cartels. Yeah.
All right, hold on. That was a loaded statement. The Mexican cartels are recruiting Colombians. I mean,
that have fought in Ukraine.
They're good at that.
To go to the front lines in Mexico to fight adversary cartels.
All right, that's not where I thought this was going.
Oh, what did you think I was doing?
I thought it was the other way around. I thought you were saying the Mexican cartels were recruiting Colombian hitmen to send over to Ukraine to be on the front line. The Colombian hitmen are being pulled into Ukraine to fight on the front line with them, I assume with like Western government tax dollars?
So Colombia has the largest number of foreign mercenaries in the world. So you see any war in Africa or the Middle East, anywhere. And it's like a ideological thing, but it's also a money thing. So basically there's a lot of Colombian mercenaries fighting in both Russia and Ukraine. And they go there because they get paid. They learn drone tactics, frontline warfare, you name it. Now, because of this, the cartels will then contact these Colombians who fought in Ukraine because they know that they're like soldiers at this point, bring them to Mexico and pay them to work for the cartels along the front lines in like shootouts and basically like battles.
Whoa.
Now, SBU, Ukrainian intelligence, launched an investigation in this because what was also happening at a certain point, I think the investigation was launched last summer. What was also happening was private military companies were getting paid by the cartels to bring Colombians to Ukraine to infiltrate their training services so that they would get trained up and then go from there to Mexico. Because when you go to Ukraine as a foreign mercenary, you have to serve, I think the minimum is 6 months. Once your 6 months are done, you can get out of there. Yes.
How'd you get hooked up with this story?
Because I saw the SBU report.
And you just went out there?
Yeah.
Who'd you contact? Like just one of the guys on one of the mercenaries?
Yeah, I contacted mercenaries, and then I had like a local journalist who didn't know this was happening.
And then they said, come on out?
Yeah, well, so then I went to a prisoner of war camp where a lot of Latin American mercenaries that were fighting alongside Russians were captured.
Whoa. Can you pull up the picture from Kat's Instagram?
Oh, I
I think I saw this. Where
I had to blur their faces because it breaks the Geneva Convention.
What do you mean? Do you see the one right there in the snow?
It goes against, no, those are, it's
They're
the next
blurred.
one.
Yeah.
They're all blurred.
Yeah.
This one.
What was the one we were just looking at? That was the one I was talking about, the one in the snow.
Oh, this is the prisoner of war camp. The other one was training.
So this is a Ukrainian prisoner of war camp where they're holding Russian soldiers who happen to be Latin American mercenaries.
Yeah, there was also African guys there.
Go back to the other one.
It was like very international.
Okay. And then the one before that?
There's Latin American guys here too. You see some of them actually have the Colombian flag. I don't know if you can see it in that photo. But this is where they're being trained to then go to the front lines.
Okay, so you're at the training camp.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what was it like there? Were you like afraid? Did you see fighting in the distance? Or?
So a lot of people, if you've seen this photo and the previous photo, a lot of people were like, this is AI. And they're not wrong. I actually had to use like an AI blurring tool for their faces and for the skyline. So you can see the trees in the back are like mangled. But it's actually Ukrainian law that press cannot, or even like if you're on TikTok or whatever, you cannot post anything that can identify military infrastructure in Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. And people were like, this is fake. And like, it's not fake. It's just that I literally could be in big shit for this.
Yeah.
So I had to abide by their standards, which is fair enough. I mean, it's a war zone. It's a country protecting itself from invasion. I think following this assignment was actually scarier than actually being there because then I had a lot of Russian people somehow get my phone number, email, reaching out to me being like, we want you to tell us how Ukraine is arming the cartels, which is not the story. Because
what is the story?
The story is that the cartels are exploiting a war that already has very little resources. And so the Ukrainians are very much against this, right? Having people who are using their warfare experience in Ukraine to then go and arm criminal organization. Right. But of course, Russian propaganda is trying to take the story that I'm pursuing and use it against Ukraine. And I really don't want that to happen. But sometimes with shit like this, you just can't help it. I'll actually show you something that's really freaky.
It's amazing how much, like this is what I mean. It's Russia and Ukraine fighting, right? But there's money coming from all over the world, from east and west, proxies fighting both sides. There's army help coming from said places without necessarily it being their own countrymen in some cases. And then you have this underbelly business of the money that's being funded into it being used to ship in mercenary soldiers from wherever the fuck to fight in the middle. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's been going on for over 4 years.
It is. And this year was particularly bad because it's the coldest winter in Ukraine in the last 15 years. And it's the first year in the war where Russia has attacked all the power plants. So we had no heat or water.
Wait a second. They attacked all the power plants.
Yeah.
Was that a cyber attack? Or was
No. They bombed them.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I would literally sleep in that fucking jacket.
How long were you there?
Like 3 weeks.
How did you get in?
I took a fucking 18-hour train from Warsaw to Kiev. From Poland to Kiev.
And there wasn't any
obstruction on the train in, we had to sit for like 3 hours, which is why it ended up being so long because Russia was bombing the railways. Jesus Christ. And keep in mind, I'm in this fuck-ass Soviet train, literally from the Soviet Union, where it's 3 tight bunk beds in one little carriage.
No meal service? No meal service?
No. But thankfully on the train in, I was actually with this older Ukrainian couple and she brought everything to make sandwiches and we couldn't even communicate. For some reason, I was under the impression that I could just communicate in Polish with them. And they're like, no, we speak Ukrainian. I'm like, sorry. But okay, I wanted to show you this. And this stressed me out. I'm not going to lie. So let me show the camera. Can you?
I'll do it.
Okay. So this was my Instagram following demographic for like ever.
Can you see it, Tiff?
Yeah.
You have LA, New York. So basically almost 90% of my following is American. Now, pass me this.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the screen went dark. Why'd you? Okay. Now this is what my Instagram demographic looks like now of
After
profile views.
Trip. Oh boy. Yeah. You're on the fucking flow chart. There you go.
Moscow, St. Petersburg.
Putin's like, this girl's got to go. She's a problem.
Like, actually.
Don't go back there.
I'm not.
I'm serious. Don't go back there.
I'm not. Yeah.
That's wild. I can't ever go there either.
So basically, I knew that I was already blacklisted from Russia, since the beginning of the war, because I was actually working in legacy media at the beginning of the war, like in a Canadian newsroom, and was putting out reports on it. And obviously, like anyone who spoke against the Russian invasion, was basically blacklisted from going to Ukraine, especially if you're a journalist.
Right.
To Russia. So now, though, because I was there, and then also I interviewed prisoners of war who told me, so Russia is offering foreign mercenaries a lot more money than Ukraine offers them. But these mercenaries who are going to Russia never actually get paid. They're being used as human shields by the Russians. I've been sent videos literally from Telegram of Russians who have like African mercenaries, and they're like obviously being very racist and being like, this guy is meat. Like, we just use him to, and obviously these guys don't know what they're saying. They don't speak Russian.
Right. That's nuts.
Yeah, and so the cartels are exploiting this because now maybe I can show you a video actually of this guy who's gotten some popularity. He's a Colombian guy who was fighting the war in Russia or in Ukraine, and now he's on the front lines with CJNG.
Imagine
in
going
Michoacan.
from Colombia's climate, and then you got to go to fucking Ukraine in the middle of urban warfare and forest warfare in the dead of winter. Fuck that.
Survive the Ukraine, and then it's like, all right, go do it in Colombia.
Yeah, and then you get murked the second you get home. What are you giving me, Kat? Again?
This guy. So here, this guy was fighting in Ukraine as a foreign mercenary and has now been recruited by the cartels and is in Michoacan shooting shit up.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to show this video on there.
Is it violent?
Wow.
And he says it in the video. He's like, from Ukraine to Mexico.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about this. So this
A lot of people didn't.
This documentary's out now, right?
No, not yet. It's coming out, I think, this month. It's a pain in the ass to edit because I was given so much access, but I have to fucking blur so much stuff.
And you're doing the editing.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
So it's a pain in someone else's ass.
It is, but I have to check everything because
Right.
the editor obviously didn't go with us.
Right.
And I have to really make sure. Otherwise, I will never be able to go to the country again. And I'll probably face legal action.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go back if I were you. Like I said, I feel like that's a one and doneer.
So I asked I had hired someone to be a fixer and translator, and he spoke both Ukrainian and Russian because he was born in Soviet Union in a place where you had to learn Russian. And I said, how bad would it be if I try to get into Russia? And he goes, you'll have a one-way ticket to Moscow and you're done. Because also what Russia is doing is there's obviously these prisoner of war transfers, right? And so if they take someone like me, I'm a high value target to then be able to get a bunch of prisoners, political and prisoners of war, back into Russia. And they use me as an exchange.
Yep.
And I really don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. I think
but
you stay away.
Yeah, it was very sad to be. I mean, okay, to be fair too, there are a lot of foreign mercenaries there who are good soldiers who are there because they believe that the Russian invasion is bad and they want to help Ukrainians. And Ukraine is like the Latin American country of Europe, honestly. The cultures are very similar, the mindset, they're very resilient people. And so a lot of the Latin American mercenaries that go there really identify with them and get really close to them. So they're not all like this, but this was enough of a problem for SBU, essentially Ukraine CIA, to open up an investigation into it. It was also very hard for me to interview political figures about this because their concern, of course, was Russia's going to use this against us.
Propaganda, yeah.
And I already see it happening. I mean, my email has been bombarded with Russian propaganda news outlets being like, can we have you on to talk about how Ukraine is arming the cartels? And it's like, well, that's not what's happening, right? The angle matters here. And what's happening is cartels are exploiting a war. I mean, in Ukraine, obviously there's no airports, right? So we have to drive around everywhere, take a train. The roads are absolutely destroyed. They're like Mexican roads. And why? Because all of the resources are going to the war effort,
right? Not
to, regular repairments of an city infrastructure.
Jesus Christ. What a mess.
It really
Every time I think this thing can't be a bigger mess, and by the way, we were talking about it yesterday on a podcast, but you got the casualties are up at an estimated 1.8 million at this point. The deaths are somewhere between 500,000 and a million. It's like...
I interviewed one woman whose son died, and she said, we're not going to have any men left in our country.
Oh, my God.
And I felt horrible for her. And then, there's this also other narrative coming from Americans, too. And I was told about something that happened. An unnamed, which I should just say it, but a sort of prominent American journalist wanted an interview with a Ukrainian politician. And when the Ukrainian politician was like, I can't, whatever, he kind of grabbed him and said, well, I pay for your war. You owe me an interview. And it's someone you would never guess.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
I mean, it's got to stop though. You have to have, especially the whole West is funding it, so they call the shots, not Ukrainians, not the Ukraine government, because there is no war without the West funding it, and they gotta be.
Oh, Ukraine would be Russia right now.
Yeah, you gotta be the bigger man here. You don't have to fucking like Putin at all, but like you can't just keep trying to make a point with people's lives because you fucking hate Putin that much. Like, make some sort of compromise here and end this shit. People are dying.
Yeah, but the peace treaty is not a peace treaty whatsoever.
What? The
Trump's proposed peace treaty to end the war, or the agreement, I'm pretty sure it's called the peace treaty. It's literally just to let Putin take over. That everyone in Ukraine has to speak Russian. And then Putin will never stop. Putin wants
it's only
the Soviet Union
he's
back.
He's talking about the Donbass region where most of them already do speak Russian.
But they're not Russian.
But a lot of them do identify as Russian.
But a lot of them don't. And a lot of people I met who speak Russian from that region refuse to speak Russian. Refuse. When I made my fixer, when we went to that POW camp, and I wanted to interview one of the prisoners who spoke Russian, I was like, oh, I want to interview him. And my fixer was like, but I think he speaks Russian. And I said, but you speak Russian. And he's like, okay, fuck. They reject it. And I understand it. And a lot of people who are not from or have ties to Eastern Europe will not fully understand it. But
it's
the
complicated.
Soviet Union was horrible and everyone rejects it. My babcha, my grandma who lived in Soviet Union was like, this is the worst possible outcome for anyone.
Right.
She renounced her Polish passport just because she was so afraid that the Soviet Union would come back. And she's been living in Canada for a long time, probably like 50 years at this point.
No, I get it. And the argument here is not like, oh, is Putin not that bad or whatever. Like Putin is what he is. He's a dictator. You can go look at his record. He kills his political opponents, always has. But he's not
Navalny.
He's not a dummy. He's
not.
He's not a dummy.
But the same goes for fucking like Ryan Wedding or Mencho or whoever we're talking about at the cartels. But just because you're smart,
it's totally different though.
No,
it is
totally different. But a high IQ person, they can still be an evil person.
There has to be a way here though, because at the end of the day, and I always cite this, Russia's GDP is the size of Italy. Okay, so there is a limit to, no matter what power he wants, there's a limit to what they can do. It is different than like when Hitler was going across Europe with the fastest growing GDP, the best military in the world, the best technology. It's a different kind of thing. And that's a tough pill for people to swallow. But like my number one thing is, let's stop people fucking dying. And if there's a way to do that, some cooler heads got to prevail. And yeah, it's got to be better than whatever's been proposed to this point. That seems like they're not trying hard enough. Anyone to get it across. Obviously,
a lot of Ukrainian
the last
people,
administration just wanted to fucking go on forever.
A lot of Ukrainian people I spoke to would honestly rather die fighting for the sovereignty than succumb to Russia.
Yeah, but I think there's ways to do it without succumbing to Russia. And unfortunately, what that is going to require is some sort of NATO compromise as well. And they don't want to hear that. And I understand why they don't want to hear that. But if they do that, and then Putin decides to break something 2-3 years from now, they will have the full fucking right to, as NATO, to go in there and wreck them.
And it'll be interesting how it changes now because Russia was backed by, or has been backed by Iran for a lot of it. Like Iran supplied the Shahed drones to Russia, which Ukraine doesn't have anything comparable to that. And now what we're seeing, I don't know what that's going to look like, to be honest.
I don't either.
Anyways, the point is the cartels have transnational nexus between fucking every possible hostile environment, political economy you could ever imagine.
And you know what sucks? But unfortunately, it's like making the case for it. We wonder why spy agencies, instead of trying to stop the cartels, use them as a vehicle. This is why.
This is a perfect example of that.
You don't think there's some sources in? Of course there are.
Come on.
There's a million of them. He probably
Of
talked to
course.
5.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
I mean, some people I spoke to, it was this one guy, he was a Brazilian guy. He worked in tech in Brazil. And then he said he allegedly got a fake job offer to go work in St. Petersburg. And then they ended up throwing him on the front lines to fly drones. But it was very obvious to me that he was lying, that he had insane drone capacities and he wanted to go over there to make money and fly drones. He ended up getting captured by Ukrainian forces.
Jesus Christ. What about the guys you were talking to in the prisoner camp from like a human rights perspective? What were your observations?
Well, it seemed as though they were very much following the Geneva Convention, but it was also very controlled what we were shown. So we were given a tour, but then also like at one point, the Geneva Convention was like printed out and laminated on the wall, but it was like all in English.
You're talking to the guy and like Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore's behind him, like,
And then at one point, so yeah, okay, so we were shown and told, you know, they're given 3 meals a day, they're showered. We actually were given bread to eat that the prisoners made.
This sounds like yeah.
It was like interesting to say the least. And then at one point, we have this on camera, and I'm not, you know, I hope that Ukraine, you know, can beat this invasion. Like, I just want to make that clear. I do not support Russia at all. But we went to be shown like the recreational room where like they watch TV or whatever, and it's like this little room, probably like around this size, and it's like lined with chairs, and they had all the prisoners sitting down looking at a black TV that wasn't plugged in like silence. Please stop, because I walk in and my cameraman is behind me and I'm like, what is this? And like at the same time our translator is translating from like the guards and the head of the prison, and they're like, this is where they watch. And then I'm like, but they're not watching TV. And like, and I'm processing it as I'm watching it. And then the fucking guard like freaks out and is like, you at least turn on the TV. You guys make me look like a fucking idiot. Like starts yelling, and my translator is like telling me, he was super good, right? And I burst out laughing.
Oh no.
I felt so bad, but it looked so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on guys, like get it together.
Yeah, turn the propaganda up.
Like it just looked really bad. But I mean, but I also interviewed a lot of, okay, so this is where it gets complicated, because journalistic standards and ethics in terms of interviewing prisoners of war is very complicated. And so this was certainly the most complicated assignment I've ever done in my life, because technically when you're interviewing prisoners of war, it can be done, it's typically done under duress. They don't have a choice. And as the journalist, you may not know that, because the guards are telling them you're going to fucking talk to them or you're not like eating for a week, right? And you have to tell them positive things. And so when I was talking to the prisoners of war one-on-one, they brought me one guy into this office that we were interviewing them, and there were 2 guards in there. So it was me, my cameraman, my fixer/translator, and 2 guards. And he's like, the prisoner is very nervous, and he sits down, he's Colombian. And I start speaking to him in Spanish, and he's like, I don't know, like, if I want to talk to you. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And the guard, as we're talking in Spanish, you can hear her doing the Google Translate on her phone, like, you know, when you hit the microphone button. And he's like looking at them, and I just fucking turn, and my translator's there. I'm like, you got to tell the guards to get the fuck out. Yeah. And someone from the Ministry of Defense came with us because we needed federal like permission to be there. But at this point, the guy from the Ministry of Defense kind of knew how I am.
It's like, this girl's got elephant balls.
And the female guard looks at me, and I'm like, she's translating, like, and I'm not going to talk to him with them in here, because it's probably already that he doesn't have a choice to talk to me. But I want to see if I can somehow connect with him. But I don't want any intimidation, because I'm not here to fucking do that. Right. And so then the Ministry of Defense guy actually was like, had my back, and he's like, okay, like, we'll all leave. So he gets them out, and I'm sitting with this Colombian guy, and I'm like, so how do they treat you here? Which is also a question you're actually technically not supposed to ask. But, you know, there's so many rules when I was reading about it in the moment too. Like, you want to know things, you don't know if you're getting right information. And so it was very complicated, and I know that I didn't operate perfectly when reporting on this situation, but I tried my best.
Tough environment.
It is. It really is. And so that made it very complicated. At one point, we go into a library where there was this guy who was kind of operating the library. He's a prisoner of war. And I go, to my translator, can you ask him if he wants to talk to me? He was like a very tall, handsome guy who apparently was from Ukraine and went to fight in Russia. So I thought that was weird. And then he was like, no, in Russian, speaking Russian. And the guards are all like staring at him. And so then they all walk out first. And I'm kind of slowly walking out and I look at him and he whispers to me in English. He spoke English the whole time. So there were just a lot of weird things that happened on this assignment. So, and then I went from that assignment straight to El Mencho's crib where like it just was all weird again.
Traveling the world, doing your thing.
Yeah, but it's not like really, some of my girlfriends are like, they get to go to Milan and like Paris. I'm at the Eiffel Tower. And I'm like,
going to war.
So hi, I'm in a Russian prisoner of war camp. I'm in the place where El Mencho was killed.
It's the life you chose in Kat Szulc, but you're doing a good job. It's a pretty wild scoop you got with the Mencho compound and stuff. So we'll be monitoring that story. People can follow you on Instagram. We have that link below as well as X.
And then all the videos of what we've just talked about will be on my podcast on Borderline Dispatches.
Excellent. We'll have that link down below as well. Thank you as always for coming in.
Thanks
Short
for
notice
having
to
me.
cover this.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. They're both a huge, huge help. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below.